Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. Oh, I forgot to empty my jar. Give me 1 second while I do that. I hope everyone's doing well today. I'm, just got done watching a movie that Jake and I are reviewing later called Amerigeddon with a cameo from Alex Jones. Thank you, Touring News, for following. Yeah, Amerigeddon, it's crazy. You want to see the trailer for Amerigeddon, the movie we watched? Let me show you. Amerigeddon trailer. By the way, Amerigeddon is absolutely the worst title for a movie I think I've ever heard. Check this shit out. On May 13th.
The reason I'm here today is to encourage the U.S. Congress to take action to protect our country from its most imminent threat. Electricity would cease, the internet would go down, and the banking system.
The smokescreen of national security used by government at every level.
A strong America is the only thing standing in the way. Country only needs a little chaos.
We have a fog that has descended on our entire
InfoWars
nation.
makes a cameo along with Alex
Hello,
Jones, who
Mr.
plays
President.
a senator.
Now is the time.
The average
Oh yeah,
American
you can't see. Hold on, I'll restart it. I'm sorry. There we go. Sorry about that. Now let's give it a shot. We just went live, the
The
Marusama.
reason I'm here today is to encourage the U.S. Congress to take action to protect our country from its most imminent threat. Electricity would cease, the internet would go down, and the banking system.
The smokescreen of national security used by government at every level.
A strong America is the only thing standing in the way. Country only needs a little chaos.
We have a fog that has descended on our entire nation.
Hello, Mr. President. Now is the time.
The average American family only has 3 days of food.
We need to talk face to face. This is important.
Sir, what's the mission? Disarm the population and restore order.
You have any weapons inside your home or on your person?
You had to give the president power to arrest any American by simply accusing them of terrorism.
The vanity of nationalism will quickly fade. These are but the birth pangs of a new world order.
I'm just so afraid of the world that you're gonna have to grow up in.
This is a time, man, woman, young or old, when folks run and hide, or they pull up their bootstraps and they fight.
Bootstraps,
Sell
unironically.
your soul. It's a one-time thing. There's no going back.
Runefar, thank you for continuing your subscription. You say, it is forcing me to share my announcement of 2 months subbing. I don't know why it does that.
Welcome home.
I need this job!
Wrenches do.
Bon appetit! Welcome home! I don't want to be here! Greed will kill us all.
I guess this counts as a mask.
Don't go to Disney. Do not go to Disney. Bad
Record
idea.
highs in Florida. Why stop there?
Anyway, let me see what some of the chat and stuff is saying. Not the banks! I know, how terrible. The movie that we watched, the trailer for Amerigeddon, that's directed by Mike Norris of Chuck Norris's Loins fame. Yes, the son of Chuck Norris, Mike Norris, directed a movie, and it's bad. We've watched movies by him before on Hannah and Jake, but... did the cat food get here? It's probably at the P.O. box. The address that it's sent to is a P.O. box, but we don't check it every day. I'll let you know later in the week, but it probably got sent to the right place. I did not miss your bit message. I was just waiting a second. Because we were in the middle of something else. Maya is bored. Amerigeddon sounds violently American in the worst way. It is. It is. You didn't get to the Vigilant Christian yesterday? Oh, I... The Vigilant Christian. Oh, goodness. Send me a link to the channel. Who made this? Who made what? The movie? Mike Norris. Apollo 8192 says, I can't stay for the whole stream today, so I demand the cancel culture video I sent 2 days ago gets watched at some point in the next 2 hours. Again, you're gonna have to be more specific. You gotta send it again. People send a lot of shit. Sushi Mom 10 says, I had a fun time calling the IRS this morning at the Surfs TV. Can I submit this little gem that happened to me this morning for today being tax day? Let me see. Did you send it at the wrong chat? That's funny. I'm gonna read it anyway. Sushi Mom 10 says, so I just called the IRS. Someone answered after a hold but didn't actually talk to me. They were squealing tires and people talking. I could hear the words bullshit and it's illegal. Are you okay, IRS? That's funny. Take that, the Surfs. Content stolen. Okay, we can watch the stupid Kanye West thing sometime in the next 2 hours. The Maker Marcus, I was just watching your Hans Wormhat marathon. Yeah, I might need to do another Hans Wormhat episode at some point where it's all Hans Wormhat all the time. Apollo 8192 has a link to something.
Hello, my friends.
Oh yeah, this one too. Okay, but first, I want to get to some stuff that's in the title of the video. So, let's do John Doyle and see what he's up to. He's posted one new video since we last checked him out. I imagine he still lives with his parents, which is fine, but hey, you know, you're gonna do what you're gonna do. I know, my hair's iffy today. But yeah, let's see what's going on with John Doyle. Total War 2020 morale booster. Oh no. What may be inappropriate about this video? Is it gonna show like war footage? Hold on, let me scrub through quickly. I mean, it's probably okay. It's on YouTube. Oh no, that is bloody. I cannot show this because there's blood. Hold on. Let me turn off the video for a second during the blood part. It's an American flag in various American cities. Now it's burning. Now it's like riot
This is how
footage.
nations collapse. When no one in authority keeps order, and when so many in our professional class encourage violence, American citizens are forced to defend themselves. They have no choice. No one else is going to defend them. They know that now. The worst people in our society have taken control. They did nothing to build this country. Now they are tearing it down.
Oh, it wasn't blood. It was literally paint on something. So never mind. Sorry. It looked like blood in the, you know, the little box at the bottom, but it was just paint.
They say the average lifespan of a great civilization is 336 years. For context, the United States of America is 244 years old. But we are by no means just a great civilization alongside the Egyptians, the Greeks, or the Romans, because we are the greatest civilization in the history of the world.
Oh god, can we not try and judge civilizations against each other like it's a fucking sports competition? Jesus Christ. What do you mean the greatest civilization in the history of the world? Wing Ultimate Nug says, hi Hannah, how are you? I'm trying to survive the 6th highest heat record in my city this year. Oof. Hope you have an air conditioner or at least a fan.
No other civilization in the history of the world has ushered in the levels of prosperity, justice, and humanitarianism that the United States has achieved. That being...
Yes, despite the fact that conservatives have consistently tried to fight against these things. Good job, John.
Being said, the greatness of a surviving civilization is in itself meaningless if not utilized for its propagation. The greatness of a civilization is not the natural state of the world. It cannot go on forever. It would be ignorant to suggest otherwise. If not acknowledged, appreciated, and protected, it will die. If we fail, that greatness will be nothing more than a short series of dates and events for future generations of societies to study in their own pursuit of greatness, hopefully noting...
Okay, that's always going to happen, though. At some point, the United States will cease to be as an entity, just like every city, state, country, nation in the history of the world. That's reality. That happens. Whether it's peacefully or through some horrific catastrophe, who knows? But that's just how it works, right? That's how civilizations have always gone.
Our mistakes carefully along the way.
It is, John.
The doctrines of liberalism have taught us mistakenly that we exist in an eternal present. For the individual to be truly liberated, it was thought, he must be free from all constraints, including those of religion, culture, heritage, family, and even realities of existence such as nature and time.
What? What about liberalism says that you need to break free from the restraints of reality? Is it because trans people like me confuse you, John? It's not Wait a minute. No. John, if it's because of trans people, we're not denying reality. That's, like, the entire point. It seems like you're denying reality if you're saying that trans people don't exist, right? I'm not saying I'm a cis woman. That would be denying reality. I'm saying I'm a trans woman, which is a thing that doctors and psychologists agree on. A conservative trying to tell me that people on the left are divorced from reality is irony of the highest fucking order.
Our existence is approaching the culmination of the resultant sickness, where we reject tradition and the wisdom of the men who...
Oh no! We put red paint on a statue of George Washington! Our society is not sustained via statue, John Doyle.
Built this country in the modern...
Oh no! If you burn the magic cloth, it won't do the freedom!
...world, and we fail to subject carnal desires to the harsh regulations of deferred gratification. We live...
Unironic, twerking on the police is the fall of our civilization. Fun stuff.
Isolated in an...
Does he not remember that, like, America was formed via action against what were effectively the police at the time? Is he not aware that America was forged out of disrespect for authority? That was, like, the whole thing. Remember the Boston Tea Party? Remember everything that happened after that? Lexington and Concord, all the other battles that I don't know.
Eternal present. There was no longer any mainstream regard for God, for family, or for fostering stable communities. Our only shared identity is that of the celestial consumer. The weaponized destruction of our culture is ultimately a destruction of our country, its history, and...
Statues literally equal culture. Galaxy brain, John Doyle. What about, like, you know, the fact that we actually share a culture together in America that has nothing to do with statues? How about this? My city has no statues of people that I'm aware of. They may exist, but I'm completely unaware of them. Because of that, am I not participating in American culture because I'm not near a statue of someone? That's basically what you're saying. Is, oh no, they've torn down the statues. Culture's gone now. That's not what culture is, John.
And everything that made it great. Do not make the mistake of thinking that this is unintentional, or even that it is inevitable. The hardest pill to swallow is that we are not being killed, but rather, we are committing suicide. That being said, once we accept that the reality of our demise is ultimately our choice, since inaction is making a choice, we can begin the process of undoing the destruction of our country and restoring it to its former glory. Our existence in the eternal present has made us pacified and numb. We cheer when someone quotes President Reagan in saying that freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction, yet...
I don't. Ronald Reagan was a dickbag who laughed at the fact that gay people were dying of AIDS under his watch. Ronald Reagan was a shitbag. Do not applaud Ronald fucking Reagan. He literally was involved in a scheme where, like, the FBI, or maybe it was the CIA, I'm sorry, where the CIA was selling drugs to drug cartels in South America in order to get funds for... Let me look up the Iran-Contra scandal. Hold on. Iran-Contra scandal. The Iran-Contra affair, popularized in Iran as the McFarlane affair. The Iran-Contra scandal, or simply Iran-Contra, was a political scandal in the United States that occurred during the second term of the Reagan administration. Senior administration officials secretly facilitated the sale of arms to the Khomeini government of the Islamic Republic of Iran, which was the subject of an arms embargo. The administration hoped to use the proceeds of the arms to fund the Contras in Nicaragua. Under the Boland Amendment, further funding of the Contras by the government had been prohibited by Congress. So, fun fact, the Reagan administration committed treason. Hip hip hooray. Dude Spanking Dude says, am I still valid if I can't get on hormones? Of course you are. You're valid now, and you're valid if you get on hormones. If you can't, whatever. You're valid. You're valid. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. The official justification for the arms shipments was that they were part of an operation to free 7 American hostages held in Lebanon by Hezbollah, a paramilitary group with Iranians tied to connections to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. The plan was for Israel to ship weapons to Iran, for the United States to resupply Israel, and for Israel to pay the United States. The Iranian recipients promised to do everything in their power to achieve the release of the hostages. The first arms sales authorized to Iran were in 1981, prior to the American hostages having been taken in Lebanon. The plan was later complicated in late 85 when Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North of the National Security Council, fun fact, he's a commentator on Fox News now, diverted a portion of the proceeds from the Iranian weapons sale to fund the Contras, a group of anti-Sandinista got it, in their insurgency against the socialist government of Nicaragua. While President Ronald Reagan was a vocal supporter of the Contra cause, the evidence is disputed as to whether he personally authorized a diversion of funds to the transfer with Iran. He did. As well as the sale of Hawk and TOW missiles to moderate elements within that country. So literally, they were selling weapons to Iranian terrorists to get funds to give to insurgents in South America to fight socialism. I'm not fucking kidding. Ronald Reagan is a piece of fucking trash.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Mock Turtleneck, thank you for gifting a sub.
We fail to do anything to preserve it in our everyday lives. We have taken American exceptionalism for granted. We have treated it as a permanent trophy to be displayed in pride, instead of a condition which can only be preserved through the combined effort of millions of virtuous, hardworking Americans. We decline to recognize the reality of our
That was a lot of white people.
Failures. We recognize that we are losing, but still resort to the same tactics and principles that have failed us in the first place, such as playing political hot potato with who the real racists and Nazis are, a leftist tactic that we incorrectly believe we can somehow use against them while burning resources in the process.
What are you talking about? No one is under the misconception that the Nazis were leftist. The Nazis were far-right extremists. Dude Spanking Dudes, Blair is too soft on Poop Girl in the vid. There's a vid of Blair White, I assume.
Hi, welcome.
Oh, Christ. Alright. Okay, I'm done taking submissions because I have so many videos. That's the last submission I'm taking today. Because then people in a couple days are just gonna be like, I sent you a video 2 days ago. This is the max I can get through.
Make the mistake of believing them when they claim a consistent anti-racism conviction, so we
I'm glad Ruth Bader Ginsburg is out of the hospital. Good.
think pointing out
She's just gotta survive till November, hopefully. Or January, I guess.
How they're actually racist in history or effect will win, but the only conviction of theirs is anti-Americanism by any means necessary.
I know dumb shits on the right think the Nazis were leftists. They're wrong, though.
Arguing about who the real racists are is the conservative political equivalent of arguing that you should at least get to go first in a game that was designed to invariably facilitate your defeat. Think of all those videos about Bernie supporters.
Hey, how about this, John? If you stop doing racist stuff and acting like a fucking racist and going to racist apologetic positions, people will stop calling you racist because you will no longer be that. That'd be great.
Loving the Republican tax plan when they hear it. Conservatives will react to this by ascribing ignorance to them. The reality is that people are no longer voting on the issues. The issues are irrelevant. People are
Okay, but even if someone is like, yeah, that tax plan sounds good, if your party is consistently showing itself to have disdain for you because of the color of your skin, it doesn't matter how much they agree with your tax plan. That's the issue with the right in this country. among many other things. They put this identity politics, white people are great bullshit above actual positions, and it colors the country's view of them, appropriately so. Trump is just the first one to be completely mask off about it.
Question of the existence of the United States, whether it is to be conserved or whether it is to be radically transformed into something unrecognizable to our grandparents. The issues are simply a means to the...
Okay, John, our grandparents would recognize in America where there are water fountains that say whites only. I don't give a fuck what your grandparents recognize America to be. I care about what we recognize America to be and what we want to achieve as a country. Fuck your grandparents' view of America. Fuck my grandparents' view of America. Excuse me. They're not going to be around much longer. We get to decide what the country is, because we are the citizens that live in it. Stop trying to be like, oh, but tradition. Okay, traditionally, talking about, like, how long slavery was a thing in America, let's say. Traditionally speaking, slavery is an American thing, right? We fought a whole war over it because the South didn't want to give up their slaves. It doesn't mean slavery is good because it's traditional.
The end. And after the election of President Trump in 2016, we continued our destructive pattern of living...
Doyle works at a Subway? Is that true, or is that just a meme?
In the eternal present. We became lazy. We developed a Pavlovian defense instinct against criticism of our president because of the media's unrelenting attacks against him for silly and inconsequential things.
Do you remember the Obama tan suit thing? Or when he put, like, ketchup on a hot dog? I don't remember the specifics, but I remember Fox News freaked out about that.
And that made us incapable of holding him accountable when it was necessary. And while Trump...
He posted pics. Okay.
May rightfully not listen to polls, he...
I live in Michigan. Now I kind of just want to go to the Subway John Doyle works at so he makes me a fucking sandwich. That sounds great.
Does listen to TV ratings, and he does note that Tucker Carlson has broken all-time records for cable television recently, and much of that time was spent criticizing...
If Jake figures it out, obviously we won't dox him, because that's wrong. But if he figures it out and he's gonna go, he needs to let me know, so I can go with him and we can both go fuck with John Doyle.
...the direction of the Trump administration and campaign. This tells us that there is hope for President Trump and for the future of our country. But President Trump is just a man.
Ooh, we can, you know how we can figure it out? Fun fact, Baja Blast figured out where John Doyle lives. I'm not going to explain how, because then you would dox him, and that's wrong. So, with that knowledge, and Jake's knowledge that he works at a Subway, we could narrow this shit down. Yeah, we just gotta look at a map of all the Subways within a certain radius of his house, and scope them out. And be weird, and go in and be like, hey, is John working today? And they'll be like, John who? Oh no.
He is a great man and he is a hero, but he is only the beginning. To take our country back...
Actually, I gotta ask Jake about this. Oh no! Let me put that up on screen so y'all can see it. Oh god! Is he a current Subway employee, or is this an old video? Or old picture? Hold on, let me text him real quick. Subway. Where did it go?
We will need entire generations of men who are moral, disciplined, and focused. The true measure of a man is much less his ability to live without conflict than it is his ability to risk his life without hesitation for something greater.
Did he bring a gun into work? Was that a real gun? Did he bring a gun into his job at Subway? Because that's bizarre. John Doyle. Weirdo.
Himself. Our fables have deceived us into believing that upon completing the hero's journey, one can live in peace. The reality of our existence is that there can be no true happy ending, for peace, goodness, and prosperity are not the natural state of the world. And because of that, men who become soft in times of such conditions risk losing them altogether. We have been deceived.
Someone needs to send that picture to every Subway manager in the town where he lives, and if he still works there, he can probably get fired for that. That'd be great.
Into believing that society ought to be oriented towards comfort, which inevitably leads to apathy, laziness, and impotence. The only nobility of comfort is that men have fought and died to achieve it for their families and their neighbors. Indulging oneself in the residual effects of those efforts while refusing to carry and pass the torch to future generations is the opposite of noble. Unearned comfort knows no nobility. A great civilization is one that is oriented towards good, and values like freedom and justice as a result.
Okay, why are you showing pictures of Christianity and specifically Catholicism while talking about freedom? Because that's the antithesis of freedom. And also, the church is like full of pedophiles, so maybe use different imagery when you're talking about freedom and the good things about the country.
To order civilization towards anything other than good is to subject the ends of the civilization to the invariably imperfect, insatiable, and self-destructive desires of mankind. Such an ordering leads to collapse. An existence of suffering for something is preferable to an existence of living for nothing. The turbine of world history is moved by action alone. Principles exist to regulate action, but if the principles exist to prevent action, then effectively facilitating defeat, they are nothing more than cowardice disguised as conviction or virtue. The cowardice of weak men has led our society into despair and its near collapse, and it would seem that things are going to have to continue to get worse before they can get better. And while there is reason to be optimistic about our future, sometimes I look at our flag and can't help but think it isn't worth sacrificing for anymore. But it can be.
Is this supposed to be getting me hyped about America? It doesn't. Ew.
They say that evil prevails when good men fail to act.
Have you ever heard the saying that when fascism comes to America, it'll be wrapped in a Bible, or it'll be holding a Bible wrapped in a flag? This gives me those vibes.
At this point, I would say that whether or not action is taken decides if a man is truly good. Men died for you. Will you earn their sacrifice?
Fuck off. The last time Americans died defending the idea of freedom was almost 100 years ago in World War II. Ridiculous, John. Alright. That's John's only new video so far, so we'll move on. Here's Caitlin Bennett. Gun Girl, or Poop Girl, whichever you would prefer. And this is her video where she's like, "Don't mess with me, liberals," and she thinks she's badass. So let's see how hilarious this is.
Watch out, liberals. You probably shouldn't mess with me anymore.
Watch out, liberals. I own a gun, and I'll use it if you pick on me. That sounds like you shouldn't own a gun, Caitlin. It sounds like you're an irresponsible gun owner then.
And I'll give you 4 good reasons why.
Did she hire bodyguards? Really? Caitlin, what good is carrying your own gun if you need to hire 4 large men to protect you? I feel like, let's be real, if you're getting attacked, just fire a turd out of that butt gun you got, because that thing shoots lethal rounds. We've seen it. Devious Chilster with 50 bits, thank you. It does kind of have the Brazzers vibe, that Brazzers meme where it's the small woman and the large group of men behind her. Is this just supposed to be like, I'm badass, I hired security, okay?
So as you guys are—
Seems like a waste of money. I don't think anyone's gonna assault you. They're just gonna make fun of the fact that you shit yourself. But, like, do you, I guess. Waste the money.
You're probably all aware of by now, I got a pretty sweet security team thanks to everyone that supports my work at patreon.com/Caitlin.
How much is her Patreon making that she can afford this shit? It's way overkill, by the way. One security person, I think, is too much for Caitlin Bennett. Much less getting, like, that. Holy shit. Right-wing people will pay for the stupidest things.
Bennett. Ever since I got mobbed at Ohio University, you guys decided that a little 5'4" girl probably shouldn't be treated like this for simply being a Trump-supporting conservative.
You wouldn't know a president if it hit you in the face!
Yeah, they're just screaming at toilet paper! Yay!
You!
Oh no, people were mean to me. I better get 4 armed security guards. Now who's the snowflake, Caitlin?
You need to back up!
To pay this monster, make sure you go to patreon.com/Caitlin Bennett. You can support my work to pay for this monster of a security guard. And thanks to all of you who have supported my work by simply donating $5 a month at patreon.com/Caitlin Bennett and gaining access to my private Facebook group, I was finally able to hire a security advisor named Isaiah, who actually got in touch with me by joining my Patreon. And
this is like a weird form of simping. He donates to her Patreon and he's like, Caitlin, I'm a big fan. I'd love to be your private security. This is weird.
Actually, guys, if you sign up at the 223 tier, get it? I'm going to send you this photo autographed by me in the mail next month as a thank you.
I could just take a screenshot of this and I could, like, go to the local Walmart and get it, like, screen printed on a t-shirt. Why the fuck do I... Can't you see this meme with just the Brazzers logo? No. No, Caitlin. No.
For deeming me worthy enough of your financial support to be...
I wonder if these guys are actual professional security people or if they're legit just like LARPers. They're big dudes, obviously. They're strong dudes. I get that. But like, do they have training or are they like weekend warriors who want to go out and simp for Poop Girl?
Safe. Thanks to Isaiah's help, he was able to get me an entire executive protection team for when I go out to film. And liberals that want to see me get hurt are not happy about it. The same people that want to take my gun so that I can be left defenseless have now started a new campaign. They want to leave bad reviews on Rat Pack Worldwide Security's Facebook page so that they won't work with me anymore.
That would be hilarious.
So that I can be without protection for when I go out to film. But
I thought the gun was for protection, Caitlin. So what's the point of the security team? Are you admitting that owning a gun is basically just, like, gives you a lady boner?
Thankfully, the guys at Rat Pack are very disciplined military veterans that won't have their feelings hurt by whiny liberals.
It's not about having their feelings hurt. It's about potentially losing clients, Caitlin.
Take a look at their Instagram real quick, just so you can see what they're all about.
Look at how badass we are. Guns. We use guns and have music. Okay. Do the guys... It feels like these guys think they're, like, about to go into Nakatomi Tower on Christmas Eve. You know what I mean? Like, what situation do you think you're gonna find yourself in the continental United States as a security guard? Where you need to, like, be doing maneuvers. Seems like any encounter you have will be done in about 5 seconds, and either your client will get shot, or you will shoot the assailant. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of prolonged combat going on in the continental United States.
These guys are seriously the real deal, and I'd appreciate it if you went over to their Facebook page and left them some good reviews to let them know we support their business. And assuming you aren't blind, you probably also noticed that my security
Oh no, don't say what you're about to say.
guards are black.
Caitlin, you're paying them to be there. This is the worst usage of I have a black friend I've ever seen. You're literally paying them to be there. What?
And Isaiah is Mexican.
I'd imagine he doesn't appreciate that.
The same people that sit here and call me a racist want to ruin a black-owned security company because they worked with me. But
Caitlin, you're paying them. No one, this is like saying Thomas Jefferson couldn't be racist. He paid for all those slaves. Like, what? No one's saying you won't employ people who are a specific color. It's just that you don't seem to, like, know many of them interpersonally.
I guess I shouldn't be shocked considering they also burned down minority-owned businesses in Minneapolis in order to protest racism, right? In fact, when we went out to film in St. Augustine, a couple of angry liberals in the wild were so mad at me for having security that they harassed them and called them fake security guards. Harassing black security guards is rather racist, right?
It's funny that she thinks she's being badass, but she's literally using these people as both literal shields and metaphorical shields for her shitty behavior. Interesting.
Watch.
Okay, we're outside, you're gonna hear things. We're outside, we're speaking. I'm not following you. We ain't pooper pants, alright? Right. If someone says poop in your pants and decides to riot, then I think that's a bigger problem that needs to be discussed than what it is we're talking about. We gotta know some conversation. We're talking about it. I'm talking back to you.
Funny thing is, I bet if the roles were reversed and those guys were conservatives, they'd be canceled, fired from their jobs, and this video would be everywhere on the internet.
If they were being racist, they weren't. No one says you're not allowed to disagree with people who are a different race than you, Caitlin. You just aren't allowed to be racist.
But because they have the correct beliefs, only
not being racist, yeah.
You guys will see this clip, and that will be the end of it. But their badgering of my security team doesn't just end with that interaction. Let me read you some of the disgusting reviews liberals left them, along with other comments they made online. Actual rats, defending a person who embodies everything wrong with this country in exchange for money. No integrity.
What's disgusting about that? That seems accurate.
Did she just call black people actual rats?
It's because their security team... Hold on, let me see where... Did you leave a link to it? It's because their security company is named, like, Security Rat. Let me see if the comments will load. Because we saw it earlier on their Facebook page. You can see that the company's logo involves rats. Let me see if I can... Caitlin Bennett... Security... Oh, there it is. Thank you, chat. It's because the company's name is Rat Pack, and their logo is rats in suits with guns. Caitlin, what about context do you not understand? Like, this isn't even a good disingenuous thing to say. Jesus, these people are bad at rhetoric.
Whoa. -5 stars for working with Caitlin Bennett of Liberty Hangout, helping her to harass people and promote propaganda. Says the guy leaving a 1-star review on a black-owned business.
No one says you can't rate businesses you disagree with who happen to be owned by black people negatively, Caitlin. What is this straw man?
Fringe security, no safe space. And then there's this...
Yeah, Caitlin, address that. I thought you were against safe spaces. You're literally carrying a safe space around with you.
This weird one. Maximum cringe at this group of furries. Now, I want to read you some racist tweets liberals wrote about my security team. But before I do that, make sure you guys sign up right now at libertyhangout.tv to watch uncensored content from me, where you can get my full, uncut opinions on things that I can't say here on social media. And to
That sounds sketchy as fuck. What are you saying on your website that you can't say on social media?
My name is Caitlin Bennett.
Stop it, Caitlin. Oh my god, it's $15 a month? I'm telling ya, at one of these days, I'm gonna sign up for this shit and find out what all these people are saying behind closed doors, because I guarantee it's real bad. I'm gonna, next month when I get paid from Twitch, actually, I'll start doing that. John Doyle also has a special group. I'm gonna start doing an expose series next month on all these weird conservatives who have secret message boards you have to pay to get into, and we can see what they're talking about behind closed doors, shall we? Yeah. She got caught doing JQ, yeah. What should we call that series? Any ideas? I mean, there's a typical YouTube format of, like, I paid for, like, Liberty Hangout secret forum, so you don't have to. Dude Spanky Dude says, I'll pay for it when I have money and relay the info to you. Sure, I was gonna do it, though, because I like to look and research for myself.
To also see behind-the-scenes footage and raw interactions. Now, let's get to some of the tweets. Nice affirmative action hires, doofus. Yikes.
Undercover Chud, that's pretty good. Ooh, behind the mask. That's not bad.
If a white conservative said that to a black person, they'd probably lose their job. The only way you could get people of color to stand with you is by paying them. And here's another.
They're making a joke about how you're racist and you're literally paying black people to both shield you physically and shield you from being called racist.
One just like that. Everyone knows who you are and how you yourself at Kent.
Behind the mask is pretty good. I think that's probably it. Behind the mask.
State, and because of it, they can immediately make the correct assumption that nearly any person of color you make a video with is either paid to be with you, or a token, or both. Photos like the one I tweeted with my security team are so brilliant because it reveals what white liberals really think of minorities. They think.
No, it reveals what we think of you, Caitlin. People think you're racist because of the bullshit you say. You literally put a sombrero and played, like, mariachi music when you mentioned one of your security guards was Hispanic, you weirdo.
Think so lowly of black people that they think the only possible way they would possibly stand alongside a conservative is if they're paid.
Caitlin, you are paying them, though. You're paying them. You are paying them, though.
They are literally judging them by the color of their skin.
No, they're judging you for being a racist.
Which, last I checked, is racist. This next guy says, congrats on knowing some brown guys. Then Matt over here, guys, she did it. She got both black conservatives in the same picture. That's definitely not racist, right?
No, it's not. They're commenting on the fact that most black people are not conservative.
She got a couple of black friends and expects us to be scared. LOL. Is this a gangbang? The white guy is there because she doesn't trust the black guys. Tell your dudes I can bring
that one's a little racist.
Some friends from the LA neighborhoods. Crips, Bloods, 18th Street, Triad. Do Black Lives Matter when they're
That sounded like a shit post.
They're not human shields? This looks like a verification thumbnail for black.com. You know, I'm not even gonna look up what that means.
Caitlin, you know what blacked.com is. It's one of the most popular porn sites on the internet.
Someone named Jennifer said, they're all veterans. I served with the owner and CEO for this company. To which Runaway Ron replied, so they are sellout veterans. Then they zoomed in on JR's face and said, his sunglasses cutting off circulation to the brain, mega mind looking at.
Caitlin, that has nothing to do with this race. It's just making fun of his looks.
Guys, there are thousands of these comments and probably a ton more on Facebook and YouTube that we never even came across. If even one conservative were to make a comment like this about a black person, it would be headline news for weeks on end. There would be riots in the streets, and the person who wrote it would lose their job and be banned from social media. But
Caitlin, do you understand how context works? They're commenting on you, not them.
When the left attacks minorities, no one bats an eye. What an incredible double standard. This is why I'm so thankful to Isaiah and Rat Pack Worldwide Security for their services, and why I'm so thankful to everyone who makes this possible by supporting my work at patreon.com/Caitlin Bennett. These guys get it. They know why I need security, and they are so happy to have me as a client. The guys at Rat Pack are veterans that fought for our country, and they're not going to...
They went into the Middle East and shot people. That means they fought for our freedom. What? How? What were they doing that was about our freedom?
Watch it go down burning. They don't want to see innocent Americans getting hurt for their beliefs, and are a top-notch worldwide security agency that deserves our support. If they can have my back, then there's no reason we all can't.
This is surprising she's even bothering with this. She's not even super popular anymore among conservatives. Like, I'm not trying to, like, shit talk her as much as, like, I hate her. Like, her videos just don't get the views they used to. Like, let's see, 121,000, and I'd imagine a good deal of those are people like us making fun of the fact that she got armed security. This one from 4 days ago only has 72,000 views, 94,000, blah, 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 blah. This one's got about 202,000, but she was getting, like, millions of views on some of these, and it just hasn't been good for her in a while, so I'm curious, like, why now she thinks she needs security? Like, look, her top video has 3.1 million views, right? 2 million, 1.5 million, 1.4 million, million. And these were all like a year ago. So, I don't know. It just seems like the nearer in time, the fewer views. And some of that's chalked up to, of course, the longer something is up, the more views it'll get. But, like, not by this much. This 4-month-old one's 300,000. You know? I wonder what happened within the community where she's just not as popular. Was it, like, literally the poop girl stuff? Did that come out and then people were embarrassed to associate with her, or...
have theirs. And again, guys, if you want to watch a...
They do have furry-like artwork on their Facebook. Let me take a look. Oh, no! Oh, no. That's like DeviantArt shit right there. That's not good. That's not good. They're rats on the moon, and they're wearing business suits, but they have the sleeves ripped off. Oof. Oof, oof, oof.
Exclusive, uncensored content from me, visit libertyhangout.tv right now to gain access to exclusive shows and behind-the-scenes footage. Go to libertyhangout.tv.
All right. I guess that's Caitlin Bennett for the day. Very badass, Caitlin. Very badass. Oh, boy. Here's a fun one. Guess who has 2 thumbs and is ready to watch The Quartering talk about Brie Larson once again. This gal. So Brie Larson's YouTube channel has apparently reached 100,000 subscribers. Let me find her channel and see what it's up to now.
Hi.
She's up to 250,000 subscribers now. How many does The Quartering have? The Quartering is 835, so she's gonna surpass him in, you know, the next 4 or 5 months or so. Which, fine. That's great for her. I have no particular opinions on Brie Larson outside of I really like the Marvel movies. I think she's a good Captain Marvel. The Captain Marvel movie was a little bland in terms of it was just another superhero origin story, but I think she plays the part of Carol Danvers really well. I like her as Carol Danvers. I like her as Captain Marvel. She's great in the movie Room. She's done a ton of great stuff. I think she's a good actress. Jeremy, of course, is super mad about the fact that she has 100,000 subscribers. It's so much salt. We can do Blair after this one, sure. But we're doing this one first. It's only 12 minutes, though. So much salt. It's like, yeah, it's Captain Marvel.
Wait a minute.
Oh, it's 100,000 dislikes. He's saying this because he made a video and he's like, oh, she got 100,000 dislikes. Jeremy.
So, I'm feeling nervous. I think...
Jeremy, I'm telling you, you gotta be careful with this. Because YouTube can literally see where people are clicking from to get to her video. So if they find that you've made a bunch of videos about her, and immediately people are going from your video straight to hers just to downvote it without even watching it, your channel can get banned for harassing another YouTuber. Like, I get this is like your MO. You pretend like you don't understand that your fans will go and harass people that you talk about, and then you do it, and feign ignorance. But, like, you can't be this blatant about it and think you're not going to get caught. Dude Spanking Dude says 100% he hate masturbates to her. I'm just saying. Oh, yeah. For sure. I think that's a foregone conclusion at this point. How large do you think his shrine of Brie Larson is? I'd imagine no matter what I say, it's larger than we all think.
I think that we're on a train here, and we're going.
Hey, credit where credit is due. 100,000. 100,000 subscribers in just one day is an amazing feat. A feat that only few viral...
Let me see what the... Hold on. Let me look at her channel again. Brie Larson. YouTube. She's done 2 videos. Let me see what the second video has in terms of... Of course, this is the one Jeremy talked about, so it has a bunch of dislikes. Let me see what her second one is. Because I'm curious how many Jeremy subscribers stuck around. So this one only has 1.3 thousand dislikes compared to 24,000 likes. Gee, Jeremy, it's almost like the videos that you specifically talk about get a ton of downvotes. It's almost like you're directing people to go and downvote videos implicitly. What a shock. Shocking turn of events. Who could have seen this coming?
Sensations or YouTube plants like van life could ever dream of. Well, I suppose if you're ultra-privileged Hollywood celebrity, you could as well. Now, I'm actually...
He's so fucking salty.
Surprised that Brie Larson's channel has topped out at 236,000 subscribers. I thought for sure it would be well over 1 million by now, but...
Jeremy, she has 250,000 subscribers in less than a month. That's incredible. Jeremy, she's gonna have more subscribers than you soon. It's fine. No one's asking you to be judged versus her subscriber count other than you. She's a celebrity. A real celebrity. Not a YouTube bullshit celebrity, right? Of course people are gonna subscribe to her. It's the same reason Will Smith and Jack Black and everyone else who's a celebrity on YouTube gets tons of followers.
Look, life is about the journey. We have to give credit. 100,000 is a huge number. It's a number to celebrate. Now, many of you would be thinking, might be thinking, and you'd be correct in thinking that, yes, she has in fact achieved her silver play button. I'm sure it will be air-mailed or hand-delivered by Susan Wojcicki, but no.
They're going to send it in the mail, Jeremy.
Well, it is not that 100,000 that I want to celebrate. No, and it's also not the 108,000 upvotes, which is incredible.
The funny thing here is, too, by the way, in case you don't know, YouTube, whether you like or dislike something, I am going to dislike this, but the fact is, when you like or dislike something, it counts as engagement with the video, and it bumps up in the algorithm. It bumps it up in the algorithm, even if it's really unpopular. So what Jeremy is doing, even though he thinks, oh, ha ha ha, I have sent my flying monkeys out to dislike Brie Larson's first video on YouTube. All he's done is increase how much the algorithm is seeing it being engaged with. The algorithm is just saying, holy shit, that's a lot of engagement. Let's bump that shit up. So he is inadvertently helping her. It's so strange.
I probably don't have a single video with 100,000 upvotes.
Jeremy, stop being so mad.
I am almost positive I don't. There is simply no way I will ever be able to compete with Brie Larson. I am just a, what are they, I'm just a little parasite surviving, existing upon the food scraps. Remore, what are those things that attach themselves to a shark? I'm just one of those.
This is true, and I'm actually a parasite on a parasite because I'm taking content that Jeremy does and then recycling it into a critique. So really, it's just a shithole all the way down. Welcome to the internet, Jeremy. I'm glad you're with us.
Little puny little...
Oh no, there's Elon news. We'll click on that to look at later. Yeah, we'll take a look at that in a bit.
You know, just getting Brie's scraps. She builds a mansion, I build a shed. She buys a brand new car, I'll buy a 1996 Ford Tempo. All right? Not the 100,000 subscribers. It's not even the 108,000 likes. But an even more difficult feat to obtain has happened here. And that is the 101,000 dislikes on Brie Larson's video.
Yeah, it's because you made a video about her. Let me see how many views did your video on her video get? Is it about 100,000? Let's see. Where's his initial video about Brie Larson starting a YouTube channel? I definitely watched it, so it should have a bar. Sneakily deleting and flagging. Brie Larson denied a Star Wars role. Where is the Brie Larson? God, it's hard to find. All his thumbnails are such a mess. Brie Larson. 100,000. Everybody hates Brie Larson. Sure they do, bud. Brie Larson backlash over YouTube channel. 308,000 views. Deleting, flagging. Brie Larson comes to YouTube. Instant favoritism. 207,000 views. So actually, Jeremy, you only got about half of your followers to go and dislike her video. That's a shame. You'd think you get better ROI on that one.
That is incredible. What it really is, though, it's the YouTube community rising up and saying, we don't want another fake Hollywood paint-by-numbers celebrity filling up all of our recommended feeds. Now, I will say, I understand people wanting to vote, wanting to dislike the video. I do. I certainly disavow disliking for just disliking's sake.
Jeremy, you can say you disavow it all you want. It's very clear that your channel does this constantly, though. It's your whole thing is, hey, look at this person. I'm not telling you to do anything, wink, wink. I completely disavow, wink, wink. However, here's a link.
That's not very nice. I don't want to push Brie Larson off YouTube. I want her to exist here. Look, I've got a lot of big plans. I'd love to resurface my driveway. It's an expense that I've been saving up for a little bit.
He's even admitting that this is all a grift and that he's like, well, these Brie Larson videos get a lot of clicks, so.
Some consistent Brie Larson content would absolutely help me with that. You know, if she gets basically bullied off of YouTube, that would be very sad. And when you get all these great articles propping them up, it's so interesting. This article just written today. Brie Larson is a very big deal. The actress is an Oscar, Golden Globe, BAFTA, SAG, and Independent Spirit Award winner, largely thanks to her success in the work from the 2015 drama Room. She also doesn't care what some 40-year-old white guy thinks about her.
Thank you, Donut Doxy, for following.
A celebrated, if oft underrated, performer in a variety of indie projects and television roles, like Short Term 12. That's actually an okay movie. And the United States of Tara. Wait, what? Is that the movie with Tara? Is that what? I'm not sure what that is. Is that Tara Reid? I doubt it. She made her directorial...
No, United States of Tara was a show about a woman with dissociative identity disorder. And she had more commonly known as multiple personalities. She was the daughter in it. It was a good show. It got canceled too soon, I think. It was fun.
Real debut in 2007. Oh, and she's Captain effing Marvel.
He's so mad. She is Captain Marvel, Jeremy. Correct.
For someone who is only a few months away from turning 31.
I don't understand why Jeremy's so popular. He thinks saying things funny ways is a joke, and it isn't.
Larson has managed to accrue a lot of power, influence, and fandom support in a notoriously fickle industry. Well, it's because she speaks the right way. She uses the right words. She bleeps the right bloops. And it is because of this power and this influence that I have no problem commentating on some of her comments and actions.
We know.
Right now, she's in a position where she can essentially do whatever she wants, a luxury that few actresses ever attain. So what's next for Miss Larson? More directing work, a return to offbeat independent roles, maybe a flashy brand contract with a historic fashion...
Toeen24 with 100 bits. Why do I feel this video needs Goodbye Horses playing in the background? True.
Label. How about a YouTube channel?
And Jouster Zen with 15 bits. Poor Jeremy. He knows he'll never be good enough for Brie Larson. I know. I guarantee, and we've done some MGTOW stuff recently where they're talking about, like, oh, love dolls are going to replace women. If there ever are, like, photorealistic love dolls, Jeremy's gonna get a custom-made Brie Larson one. I don't care if it costs $1 million. He will figure out a way to get that Brie Larson love doll, and it's gonna be creepy as shit. He'll use it in videos, too. He'll be like, hi, Brie Larson, and it'll be creepy, and everyone will be like, oh, no. Quick picture of for a cleanse. Okay, let me see what it is. Goodbye, horses. Aw. I'm running over you. Goodbye.
A YouTube channel that is artificially propped up, promoted, and worked in cohorts with YouTube. A YouTube channel that will essentially become a commercial for YouTube itself. I must admit, when I saw the news, my reaction was one of understanding and confusion. It's hard not to see why Larson would want to join the fun of YouTube, right? It's so fun. Never knowing what words you can say, what you can't say, never knowing when some of your favorite channels will be yeeted from existence, never knowing if your own channel that you've built over years and years will be yeeted from existence, never knowing what topics I can or can't talk about. It's so fun.
You know, Jeremy, if you stop harassing people, you don't have to worry about that very much. Like, don't get me wrong, YouTube's pretty bad in terms of, like, their miscommunication or lack of communication with their users. I've been here longer than you, Jeremy. I've been here about 8 years. But, like, that kind of comes with the territory. If you're not willing to do that and also, like, kind of deal with it and have fun, why the fuck are you doing YouTube for a living? Go and work on BitChute. Like, only.
So fun. It's not the word I would use to describe it, but that is neither here nor there. A site of immense cultural influence, especially since she's an avid social media user. Yeah, I can see how avid she is. She's posted one video since...
She's posted 2 videos at this point, and she uses Instagram a lot.
She's absolutely due.
They're talking about the fact that she's a user on like Instagram and stuff. I don't know if she has a Twitter or anything, but I know she has an Instagram.
Second video. It's been like 8 days. We need more content, Bree. Let me tell you something. If you want to do this YouTube thing, you got to put out more than one video every couple of weeks. I know you...
She doesn't have to. She's a celebrity. She can pretty much put out whatever she wants, whenever she wants, and it'll guarantee get a ton of views.
Have the privilege of every mainstream media outlet fawning over you every time you upload a video, but also understand that then there is a current of people that don't like that resent that want some of that for themselves.
Jeremy resentful? Well, I never.
I sincerely hope your second YouTube video is one that lifts up smaller creators. And look, if you want to mix in...
I do want to say the best thing about Jeremy and his set. Well, it does look like the set of the Nerd Crew, if you're aware of Red Letter Media's Nerd Crew. I do love these spinning globe things. I'm gonna get me one of these because they are fucking awesome.
Your activism into lifting up smaller creators on YouTube?
I think a globe one would be good for, like, flat Earth stuff. That'd be fun.
I think that's a good thing.
And maybe a moon.
I think when a star Hollywood celebrity comes to YouTube,
they're expensive, though. Let me show you guys. Spinning globe. Shopping. Yeah, they're like $160. They're very cool, though. Goodbye, horses. I'm riding over you. MOVA Earth View with cloud cover revolving globe, 4.5 inch. Small crystal. What is that? Ah, I see. It's a different stand. Pretty cool. They have different ones, too. Let me look at their different ones. They have antique ones. Ooh, my living room's sort of done in, like, antique science stuff. So I have, like, a phrenology head and a big magnifying glass and, like, a shark jaw and a fake... Well, not fake. It's a casting of a fossil. So I think one of these old-timey globes would look really cool. Sorry, I'm getting off track, but Jeremy's real annoying to listen to without a break. These things are awesome, though. For real. Very, very cool. Let me see what else they have. Replogal globes. I don't know what that is. Oh, they're just, like, normal globes. Gotcha. They're cool. Anyway. Back to Jeremy.
Do so much good for the platform instead of making it, you know, just another marketing arm for their own product. Let's see which one Brie wants to. But now, look at this. Will Smith and Brie Larson pave the way for YouTube celebrities. Wow, thanks, Will Smith. Thank you for risking it all and creating a YouTube channel once you're already...
You're so mad, Jeremy. Don't you want to take this energy and put it into something more productive? Jeremy, here's the thing. You have way more subscribers than me, and I'm talking about the Hannah and Jake channel, much less the YouTube channel that I also run for this Twitch streams, which, by the way, I'll put in the chat if you want to subscribe, because I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. In fairness, most of you are probably already subscribed, but if you haven't, check it out in the chat. I'm almost up to 500 subscribers. Jeremy, if I had the privilege of 835,000 subscribers like you have, I would have better things to talk about than bitching about celebrities being on YouTube, because you're going to change absolutely nothing by doing so. It's completely fair if you want to actually talk about, like, hey, isn't it interesting that, like, celebrities can come and use their clout on YouTube and get certain specific privileges and stuff, but, like, doing it in such a way where it's clear that you're just whining and you're super salty about it is not a productive way to go about it. It just makes you look like a weirdo, and the shelf full of toys doesn't help. And I say this as someone who owns a lot of toys. Like, ugh.
Wildly successful in Hollywood. What a stunning and there's gonna be in the history books
No one will mention YouTube in history books.
Risk takers out there. We had, you know, Harriet Tubman and Will Smith.
Jeremy, do you understand what a false equivalence is? Great.
Will Smith and Brie Larson have been in the headlines recently following an explosive success of their YouTube channels. Really? I mean, she has 1 million views, 1.5 million views, which is legit, but I wouldn't call 200,000 subscribers an explosive success.
It is after making one video. Jeremy, how long did it take you to get that many? Let's go to Social Blade. Social Blade is a great website if you want to look up stats for different YouTubers, people's Twitter accounts, whatever. Let's see, we need the quartering. Let's see how long it took Jeremy to get to 200,000 subscribers. Let's see, he started in September 2017, and it took him until, oh, I need cumulative subscribers. Monthly gained video views. Cumulative detailed statistics, that might help. Goodbye, horses. Weekly subscribers. I don't want weekly, though. I want cumulative. Total subscribers. There we go. Oh, do you not go further back than that? Further back than 500,000? That's a shame, because I really want to see. Here we go. August 2017. This is subscribers. So from August 2017 to, let's see, it took until November 2018. It took August, September, October, November. It took a year and 3 months for you to get to 200,000 subscribers. And she's even closer to 2.5. So let's say December. It took a year and a half for you to do what she has done with one video. So it is an achievement, Jeremy. Stop trying to make your saltiness come off as substantive criticism, because it is not.
I mean, is Will Smith even publishing content anymore? He's got 8 million. He's got 8 million subscribers. And he is still publishing. Views are pretty whack. I mean, for nearly 9 million subscribers, 500,000. I mean,
that's not too bad. It really depends upon the channel, but like if you have subscribers, you're lucky to get 10 to 20% of them to look at any particular video. Like it really, subscribers, it's about a fifth sometimes, if you're very lucky, will look at any particular video.
I guess. I mean, he does do really good sometimes. I shouldn't say that. Shouldn't say that. But, you know, at least he's consistent. 8 months, one video a month. Here's another video 1 month. Okay, so he puts out like 1 or 2 videos a month. YouTube puts him on trending and he gets all the views. Really stunning and brave. So why is this pursuit picking up steam with active and competitive world of celebrity? And were the most popular examples so far? In investigating, it might be possible to predict a greater trend of even more personal way to get invested with the stars we love. You know why these stars won't do it? Because when they're on YouTube, they're out of their bubble. Now, Will Smith has been largely, I mean, he's a meme, the ha-ha hot guy. But people don't really strongly dislike him. Jack Black, same thing. His content is largely boring, uninspired, and just, you know, YouTube advertiser-friendly.exe so they can put Jack Black in the rewind. I thought he'd do something interesting. He really isn't. You know, Brie Larson. Jablinski Games has 4.5 million subscribers, and that's not to be, again, that's not to be minimized. But same thing here. Jack Black's given up on his YouTube channel, hasn't he? 400,000 views, meh. not that impressive with 4.6 million subscribers.
It's 10%. That happens. 10% retention in terms, especially if you're only doing a video once a month or so. That's not bad.
Had you have put up with...
And you should know this, Jeremy. Like, this video only got 141,000 views. You have 800,000 subscribers. Like, that's 15% or so. That's how YouTube works.
That continue to produce content, his channel would be doing great. But these seem like just places where they can, you know, maintain an audience and then tell everyone when they have some new movie come out or some new project to come out and work on. Jack Black, I mean, he's a likable guy. Will Smith is likable. Brie Larson definitely has her fans. At least I can say this about Jack. His videos aren't like super overproduced. From what I can tell, his kid edits them, which seems like a really cool thing for a father and son to do together. And so largely, Jack has been accepted into the YouTube community. Will Smith, not so much. Brie Larson, the choice is yours. Congratulations on your first 100,000 dislike video. I hope your second video turns out much better. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Jesus, Jeremy. The crush is not endearing anymore. Please leave Brie Larson alone. It's so gross. And it is so cringe. Jesus. Okay, let's see what's going on with this Elon Musk thing. Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Apple, Uber, and others see their Twitter accounts hacked. Twitter accounts belonging to Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Apple, Uber, among other prominent handles were compromised on Wednesday and posted tweets that appeared to promote a cryptocurrency scam. The accounts, along with those of Kanye West and Jeff Bezos, posted similar tweets soliciting donations via Bitcoin to their verified profiles on Wednesday. Quote, "Everyone is asking me to give back and now is the time," Gates' tweet said, promising to double all payments to a Bitcoin address in the next 30 minutes. Wow. I wonder who did it. That's like a huge thing to commandeer the social media of that many huge accounts simultaneously. That's nuts. Sushi Mom 10 says, looks like a hacker got access to an admin Twitter account and is posting on famous accounts. Oh no. I'm surprised they didn't get Donald Trump. Wowzers. That's crazy. That's a crazy story. Shame. That's a shame. Anyway, I said I was gonna do Blair White next, so let's do this.
Back to my channel. So good news for everyone who's been requesting this video, because this is highly requested. Today we're going to talk about Kaitlin Bennett. Now, I feel like whenever you make a video about someone as polarizing as Kaitlin Bennett, I feel like half the people clicking are going to be bloodthirsty and wanting me to rip her to shreds, and the other half are going to be wanting me to praise her as a queen and defend her to the hilt. And I'm here to say, if you're looking for either of those videos, this probably isn't the one for you.
Blair, I'm not asking you to hate her. It's fine. But Kaitlin Bennett doesn't like trans people. She would call you a man to your face despite the fact that you are clearly a woman. So maybe don't go to bat for her. I don't know.
I have a very nuanced opinion on Kaitlin. But really quickly, I just want to say, I have a tour coming soon. I'm working on it. It's self-funded. I am so excited, but I need to know exactly where to go. So I need you guys to click the link in the description. It's a very quick form that I created letting me know what cities to come to. I can't know what cities to book if you guys don't tell me where the hell to go. The link is in the description for you to put in your city. It helps me out so much more than you can ever know. Just open a new tab, do it after this video, do it while you're listening to this video, whatever you want to do. But please, please, please do that. Anyways, back to Miss Kaitlyn. I almost said Caitlyn Jenner. Kaitlin Bennett, okay? So I'm sure you've seen videos of Kaitlyn go viral constantly on Twitter.
Donald Trump has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho!
She's gonna eat it.
The f did you say to me?
You know I carry, right?
If you're a gun owner and you feel that you are emboldened to literally insult people because you have a gun, you should not own a gun. Period. That's not what a gun should be used for. It's for defense, not so you have an excuse to go and insult people to their fucking face and then threaten them when they try and be like, what did you say to me? Imagine if I went up to Caitlyn Bennett and was like, what's up, shit girl? And she was like, what did you say? And I would go, I have a gun. Like, that's a threat. You're threatening them. You're instigating an argument and then saying you have a gun. You should not be allowed to have one.
You know I carry, right?
I looked at her Twitter, and it's crazy because her Twitter, you know, she has a large following and she gets very good engagement, but the videos that people make about her and clips of her get like millions of views on Twitter. And I genuinely can't even remember the last time I saw someone who was this hated on the internet. And I think the reason you guys ask me so much about my opinion on her is because we both are controversial figures online. You know, I do events and I get protested as well. Need I remind you of the banshee that came to my show in San Francisco 2 weeks ago?
Oh, that seems like it would hurt your throat.
She is rising to internet notoriety because she goes to campuses. She's a very outspoken Republican, and she goes to college campuses.
She's a monarchist. Let's not sugarcoat this. Did you do any research on her before this?
Speaks to students, and their reactions to her are very extreme.
You don't want to stand there. Hey, you don't.
I feel like she has two styles of videos. Videos where she can go and have honest conversations that don't end up in craziness. And I've seen those, and I actually enjoy watching those. Not because I always agree with her, but because sometimes she does have conversations on her channel that are interesting to me. But then I feel like sometimes she goes into this mode where she specifically goes out on the campuses to piss people off.
That's literally her whole shtick, Blair. She goes places and tries to instigate arguments. She's literally like trolling people in real life, if you want to call it that, and trying to get extreme reactions from them so she can be like, ah ha ha ha, so much for the tolerant left. Like, this is her whole shtick.
And to incite the reaction that she gets. I'm not saying that she deserves violence or anything like that, because James Charles actually recently tweeted out that she deserves to be assaulted for her opinions, which I actually unfollowed James Charles for saying that. Not because I'm some huge fan of Caitlyn Bennett, but because
I think the mistake you made was following James Charles in the first place.
Just on a moral principle level, I don't feel anyone deserves to be assaulted for their beliefs. And funnily enough, James Charles actually recently hit me up to hang out with him, and actually I'm glad I didn't, because clearly our morals are not aligned. Caitlyn does not deserve to be assaulted for her opinions, no matter how, you know, crazy they may seem to you, because the tables can easily be turned back on you if one day your opinions are seen as controversial and crazy and extreme.
If someone's going to assault me, for instance, for being a trans person, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. To try and take this stance that, like, all violence is wrong always, I don't know. Seems kind of weird to me. Like, obviously, human history, we've gone through times when people with really, really awful opinions, not just opinions, but, like, opinions that are like certain people don't deserve to be considered people, that often is met with violence. Like, you know, World War II. I don't know.
With that being said, Caitlyn be doing too much sometimes. This one clip comes to mind of her literally following and borderline harassing a child to talk to them about abortion.
Hi, sweetie. Hi. Do you know what the #1 cause of death in the United States is? It's abortion.
Oh my god.
It's abortion.
Shay, you have a right to one.
Now that to me is just messed up no matter the context, because I feel like we don't need to be addressing children. Like, if you want to go debate people, debate people. However, yo-yoing back to the other side, because two things can be true at once. The truth can be in
the hacker is still going. They just got the God account. Ooh, boy.
the gray area, despite how people feel about this, is that I also dislike how there are a lot of clips that go viral.
The tweet was already gone when I got to look at it, so it looks like Twitter's really trying to, like, clean up behind them as quick as possible. I imagine they're trying right now and freaking out, trying to get them locked out of the account, but maybe they can't for some reason.
Her that are selectively edited to make her seem worse and or as the aggressor. There are plenty of instances where she is the aggressor, like I said, her harassing the kid. One that comes to mind is where she's talking with a woman and the topic is rape and abortion, and that's a popular topic she talks about. And the clip that went viral on Twitter that I saw was selectively edited to take out the horrendous things that the person she was debating was screaming at Caitlyn.
You want to laugh at me like that?
I am laughing at you.
I hope somebody holds you down and rips you.
Oh, that's awful. No, don't say that to someone. That's a fucked up thing to say.
So let's just keep it real. No matter how many hundreds of thousands of likes or millions of views were on that tweet.
Even though what that person said was awful, though, let me clarify. Caitlyn Bennett literally goes to places to be a provocateur and fuck with people. You're gonna get extreme reactions. Of course that person shouldn't say that. That's a fucked up thing to say to just about anyone on this planet. But, like, this is what she's here for. To try and get people so mad they say ridiculous shit at her.
I think it's clear which one of them was the aggressor. And it wasn't Caitlyn.
Sushi Mom has a screenshot of the Twitter hacking, apparently. Oh, no. That's a shame. That's a shame. There's no way they don't get Donald Trump's account then, right?
Period. No matter... You don't gotta like the girl, but she was not the aggressor in that situation. Some criticism, honestly, that I have of Caitlyn is that I don't feel like she goes into a lot of situations looking for an honest and fair debate in...
You don't say.
...good faith. I feel like she very much capitalizes on freakout videos, and in a lot of questions that she asks people on the street are very leading questions. They're manipulative, and it's just very clear she's looking for an over-the-top reaction for YouTube views, which, hey, if that's your hustle, that's your hustle, but it's not very honest. Now, I'm someone that does political and social commentary for a living, and I much prefer methods of actually trying to change people's minds, which, again, sometimes she does, but most of the time she doesn't, and, like, actually having a conversation and a debate. That's what I live for. That's what I love. That should be the goal, right? Like, I don't know if that's Caitlyn's goal, but it should be, right? The other thing, though, is I'm not going to sit here and pretend as if it really takes Caitlyn being over the top in her attitude to set all these college students off, because I'm someone who has done talks at colleges that have been protested. I'm a trans woman whose opinions are, in my opinion, for the most part, not all, but some, are pretty middle of the road opinions.
Oh my goodness, Blair, stop.
Right? I don't feel like I'm extreme at all, but yet I still get violent protesters coming to my shows, and I still get people saying they want to harm me, and you guys know that. We've been over that. So I'm not going to pretend as if she were more level-headed and less aggressive and less like trying to get a reaction out of someone, that those reactions still wouldn't happen, because they would. They wouldn't be at the extreme level that she receives, but she would still get it. I think Caitlyn speaks a lot in buzzwords, which is honestly my criticism of the opposition. That's not productive, and I feel like she asks a lot of leading questions that are purposefully inflammatory and not productive questions. There's no answer the person could give you that would be productive. For example, apparently at Ohio University, she asked an African-American student, "Do you ever thank white people for the fact that you aren't a slave?" She then goes on to say she identifies as a woman of color, but she doesn't. What is the point of asking that question? Like, that is a dumbass question. It makes no sense. She wouldn't be a slave regardless. She wasn't born in an era where slavery was happening. It's literally just a question set up to piss someone off and get a reaction. But
that's your issue with the question, Blair? Oh my goodness. How about the fact that her family... Oh my god. Blair, the issue with that question is implying that it wasn't also white people who, like, enslaved black people in America, right? That's the issue with that question. Jesus.
You know what you're doing when you ask someone, do you think white people that you're not a slave? Come on now. Because here's actually a compliment to Caitlyn. I think she shines so much more in a civilized, structured debate scenario rather than going on campuses trying to piss people off. She actually went on Logan Paul's podcast and debated Logan and I think 2 other guys on a variety of issues. And honestly, she made them all look like idiots. She completely rose to the top, and granted, there's something to be said for the fact that maybe that's not the hardest thing to make, like, Logan Paul look like an idiot.
No shit, Blair. Are you kidding me? Logan Paul's a moron. Literally, I could take a rock and put it on Logan Paul's show, and half the time people will decide The Rock wins because Logan Paul says something so stupid. Silence is better than what he said.
But regardless, I think it's just a point to say that I think she would be a lot more productive in that form of debate where she made them look like idiots, period. And you can go in the comment section of that debate and all the comments are saying, like, I may not like her, but she made them, like, she totally won the debate. And again, that's a really great quality, and I wish she would.
No, it's not. Being disingenuous and getting people so mad they scream in your face and then calling it a win is not a good debate. It's not a good quality. It's just an asshole move. Blair, come on. Be better than this.
Hone in on that more, rather than just trying to piss people off. Honestly, I respect the fact that Caitlyn believes in what she believes in and she is willing to argue with it. I just think that the ways in which she does it are more often than not very unproductive and kind of just bad for everyone. And while she's deserving a backlash for a lot of stuff, I think some of it's very over the top and people should probably just chill, because these type of like crazy pile-ons, even if you hate someone, they only really end up in really bad circumstances. Like, I don't want to see anyone hurt, whether it be on campus, one of the people protesting her, or her. Like, if you see Caitlyn Bennett at your campus, just remain calm. Just, if you're willing to engage her and debate her, I think that's amazing. And Caitlyn, I think there's a way to stand strong with your beliefs, and I think you need to do that, and I support you being strong in your beliefs, absolutely.
Does Blair not understand that Caitlyn Bennett doesn't like you specifically because you're trans? Caitlyn Bennett isn't like just a regular conservative that doesn't like trans people. She will misgender you to your face, Blair. She will tell you, especially because I'm pretty sure Blair's talked about this before, how she has concerns. So she hasn't had bottom surgery, to my knowledge, which frankly isn't anyone's business. But she's mentioned it on videos before. And Caitlyn would say the rudest shit to you because of that. Even if you had bottom surgery, she would misgender you. Caitlyn Bennett is not someone who deserves some kind of imaginary mutual respect. She will shit on you. Jesus.
Absolutely. Just maybe change up your style. I don't know. I guess to sum up how I feel about Caitlyn and the reaction people have to her is it's kind of everything wrong with society. It's people unable to control their emotions when, like, debating people, so all people freaking out about her and trying to run her out of town.
Can't we all just be civil while I'm telling you that you don't deserve rights?
And it's
my least favorite take.
Also people who are inciting that reaction because it benefits them monetarily. You know? I think I'm just very optimistic these days that, you know, you can really change people's minds and really talk about important issues without, like, ignorance from either side. Maybe that's wishful thinking. I don't know. I'm trying to see the good in everyone here. With that,
that's the mistake you're making, Blair, is assuming that everyone is a good faith actor, even when they prove themselves to not be as such.
that being said, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I know you're going to watch 4 or 5 more videos anyways. You might as well just subscribe, be part of the family. I'll love you forever. I have no friends, so I need subscribers. You know? Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. If you don't, you're missing out on so much and have to...
Okay, Blair. Whatever you say. She would literally call you a man to your face. That's what I said. At least all the top comments are people saying that, like, it's ridiculous that Blair is this easy on her, which I think is true. Random invite with 10 bits says she's just trying to see the good in all the literal monarchists. True. What else we got? Okay, let's do the Kanye West is wrong about the Mark of the Beast thing that someone sent, I guess.
Hey, Faye family, it's Brother Mario. I pray you're having a wonderful day. I wanted to go ahead and do a follow-up to yesterday's video where I gave you my response to Kanye West stating that the Mark of the Beast is going to be the COVID-19 vaccine. In the video yesterday, if you haven't seen it, I went ahead and said, that's not the mark of the beast.
Devious Chillster with 50 bits says, to be fair, if Caitlyn was trans, Blair wouldn't be fair to her either. True. True.
Many of you raised up some really good points, and unfortunately I didn't address them in the video yesterday. What I stated in the video is that the vaccine could not be the mark of the beast because it will not have any economic repercussions. We are told in the scriptures that those who refuse to take the mark will not be able to participate in the beast system, the New World Order. And I said that on that basis, I do not believe that it is going to be that. Now, some of you raised up a really great point, and I wasn't able to address it. You said, in the comment section, many of you, well, Mario, you're wrong. The vaccine will in fact come with some tracking, and those who do not have it will not be able to buy it or sell.
How are they going to sell that? By the way, we got a new vaccine that'll also work as a debit card. What? People would be like, what? What the fuck are you talking about?
And so, yes, it does fulfill that prophetic requirement. So I wanted to do a video here today to show you 100%, without a shadow of a doubt, from biblical proof that what Kanye is stating is not the mark of the beast. Not even close. What we're going to do in this video, and it's going to be a great way...
Yeah, this isn't Chud's, it belongs in Tinfoil Tuesday, but someone bitched at me that I didn't watch this when they sent it to me the other day.
For us together to get into scripture, I'm going to show you what it is all about, the mark of the beast, how it's going to be established, and the characteristics that we need to identify that rise up in that prophetic fulfillment. And you're going to see that clearly, without a shadow of a doubt, it's not this. And brothers and sisters, it's very important. We are people of truth.
Bye, Apollo 8192.
We cannot get caught in lies. Even though there may be some truth to it, we need to make sure that we seek out truth. We don't want to be crying wolf. You know, there are many Christians, and I'm sure well-meaning throughout history, that have stated that the mark of the beast is this or that. At one point, some brothers and sisters thought it was the barcode, and they were wrong. Others have thought all sorts of different things. And so far, there hasn't been something that perfectly lines up with the scriptures, as we're going to see in this video study here today. And so here we go today. This is 100% proof that Kanye West is wrong about the mark of the beast from scripture. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, the first thing that I want to point out are his comments. He says, so many of our children that are being vaccinated end up paralyzed. So when they say they're going to fix COVID-19 with a vaccine, I am extremely cautious. That's the mark of the beast. So those were his comments. All right, well, let's go ahead and check this out. Now, what we have from scripture, and this is where it's important, this needs to guide our truth.
We're going to have I was going to say we were going to have an anti-vaxxer president sometime in the next 20 years. I guarantee it, because of how stupid this timeline is. But Donald Trump has already made some pretty stupid comments about vaccinations, so...
Ultimately, there is a reason that God prophetically lets us know these fundamental characteristics. So let's take a look. Now, first of all, the Antichrist is revealed first, and the mark is accompanied with worship. And so we don't have an Antichrist figure in the world right now who is administering this, okay? So the Antichrist, the beast, needs to make himself public, okay? And this is going to happen in the time of the Great Tribulation, where the world is going to be ruled by him. And so I do believe, as I've stated in previous videos, in the pre-wrath position, meaning that the church will be here for the tribulation of Antichrist, where the Antichrist makes war against the saints and persecutes us, as scriptures say, but then is coming the day of the Lord, and we're not here for that. Those who subscribe to a pre-tribulation view mix this up. They don't understand and are unable to distinguish between the Antichrist tribulation and the day of the Lord. So they say, well, we're not appointed to wrath. Yeah, that's the day of the Lord. Those scriptures are in reference to the day of the Lord. And yes, pre-wrath says we're raptured before the Lord comes. And of course, the Lord's not going to pour out his wrath on us. But the great tribulation, the Bible tells us that we're going to be here. We're going to be here. And this left behind is a led astray doctrine. You're not going to get zapped up and then people left behind. And then there's a second secret rapture before the wrath of the Lord. And it's just Go to Good Fight Ministries and go examine the roots of the pre-tribulation rapture, and you're going to see that they have occult roots and it cannot be proven in scripture. You have to do scriptural acrobatics to get to that position. Brother Chris White, who is fantastic on YouTube here, he's one of the main reasons that I do YouTube. He's been absent for as long as I've been doing YouTube, basically, and he's coming back to give us the proper interpretation of the rapture, the pre-wrath rapture. So stay tuned. You're definitely going to hear about it, and I'll share it when he publishes that. But I don't want to get too much into that. I do have a video coming about the great end time rapture deception, where many Christians are going to falsely believe that they are going to be taken away before the tribulation of Antichrist because they properly did not distinguish the word, and they took what
the Bible's pretty open to interpretation, but pretending that you have the correct one, welcome to the club. There's like 1,000 denominations of Christianity.
Is described as the day of the Lord, and they mesh that up with tribulation, and they have a confused doctrine. We're going to talk about that because Christians should be preparing for the Antichrist and his mark, because we are going to be here, and it's very important to not be taken astray by this.
I do appreciate that the Bible, that they've interpreted Antichrist to be a literal Antichrist, like the fucking Reverse Flash. He's like an evil counterpart to Jesus. I do love that shit in Christian mythology.
So the Antichrist is going to raise up. Do we see someone in the world right now? Okay, in the book of Revelation, the term...
Maybe instead of a carpenter, he'll be like a construction worker who specifically, like, knocks down buildings, and he'll rise to political prominence.
Beast has two different type of meanings. Sometimes it's in reference to the actual individual, the man of sin, the son of perdition. Okay, so you see the political and spiritual leader of the great beast end time empire or system or new world order. It references that, but other...
Alright, that's enough of the Antichrist. We'll check out some of his videos later. I'm gonna have to go through and find some good shit. I'm sure he seems off enough that he's got some interesting stuff going on. But we'll check him out on like a Tinfoil Tuesday, because it fits more there. So let's see what this is. Short Fat Otaku is the name of this channel. And he says, I'm tired of cancel culture. I'm sure you are.
I was actually gone for a couple days, I don't know if you noticed. I was getting fiber optic internet installed. So hopefully this video is coming to you at the speed of light. If not, then maybe I've been had. Anyway, today we're talking about cancel culture, and more specifically, how I don't really care about it. And I hope you don't mind indulging me in an old man ramble for at least a couple of minutes.
Christ, it's a 30-minute video. Old man ramble away, I guess.
Talked about my pre-political past on YouTube a few times now. I think I've done at least 2 videos on it. If you're new, this channel only really started getting into politics basically around Gamergate, and before that it was game playthroughs, which are now over on my Game Boomers channel, and before that they were...
Wait a minute, politics? I thought Gamergate was about ethics in gaming journalism.
Anime reviews. You know, that guy with the glasses styled anime reviews, all the way back in 2009. It was me and 2 friends. We were a lot younger and we were just having fun. That's why the channel's name is Short Fat Otaku, because we were all otakus. But that also means that I have a lot of old friends from other parts of the internet that aren't political. In fact, parts that should be apolitical, like anime, like video games, let's plays, that kind of stuff.
Why are you assuming that various art forms should be apolitical? First of all, there's no such thing as apolitical art. Any video game, even something like a Call of Duty, is inherently political, especially games like Call of Duty, because they sort of normalize warfare, especially the kind in like the Modern Warfare series when it was still a thing, where you're like using American foreign policy and our use of military force on foreign soil to try and enforce our political wants. You're normalizing it for people. That's political. If you choose to include gay people, these kind of types will say that's political, even though including only straight people is also a political statement. Everything we do, everything we express through art is political. Period.
Places where, frankly, politics really shouldn't be injected, one way or the other. Now, while I was offline getting that internet installed, I actually got removed from a Discord of people that I used to be friends with a long time ago. And no, I am not asking you to cancel them. That's why I've censored all of their names. I just want to discuss the topic, if you don't mind. I want you to read a little bit with me, just so we can discuss the nature of places that really should be apolitical, like non-politics side of YouTube, and how they've become politicized, and how the people in those spaces believe that that is morally justifiable, okay? It's been brought to our attention by several members of our community.
It doesn't have to be justified. Everything is political.
That due to your past actions and current content, people are uncomfortable with you continuing to be in the Discord. We are aware that you think those people of different political views can coexist, but unfortunately, when your views and actions cause harm and fear in others, that's not the case. As to what views and actions we're talking about, I'll show you in a bit.
Oh no!
I understand that we have history. When we were just two gaming channels, despite being different, I appreciated our friendship. However, as much as I respect the ideal of looking past differing views, there's a line that I can't cross. The history of your words and ideals go against my own, my friends, and radiate a hatred that I can't tolerate in my community. Apparently I radiate hatred, okay?
I imagine you do. People don't write messages like this if someone is being benign. Hey, what's up? Hello.
Okay. I hope you understand. We're just too different, and even if you don't think we are, I hope you respect and understand that I do. And I mean, fair enough. Ultimately, this is their Discord, not mine. It is not my place to complain. They have their rules, and even though I think that they're completely ridiculous, it's their place.
Hello, chat.
How you doing?
Good.
Would you get me some Coca-Cola?
No.
Would you get me some pop?
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's not mine. I would not do this in my Discord. I personally do not tolerate any kind of xenophobia in the slightest. We are all about creating a safe and caring environment for everyone, for people to be themselves and feel like they belong. It's actually sad whenever a friendship ends due to what basically amounts to Trump derangement syndrome. But let me show you my offense, okay? We've been provided with screenshots.
Let's take a look.
Of both old and recent SFO comments, content, and remarks, and so we've banned him. If you have interacted with his content because of this Discord, or been offended by his actions, we're deeply sorry. I'm sorry you had to watch a YouTube video of me, dude. Provided below is one of the screenshots we received that pushed us to act. Please know that in this community, we aim to make all people of all races, genders, and backgrounds feel welcome and safe. And you know what? Frankly, so do I. But I would also add of political persuasions into that as well. Xenophobia, transphobia, I don't know if you'd accuse me of transphobia, knowing my porn history.
Oh, dude, being a chaser doesn't make you not transphobic, you sick fuck. Jesus Christ. A chaser, for those of you who don't know, is someone who fetishizes trans people instead of treating them, you know, like human beings.
And any other form of intolerance will not be tolerated. Please reach out to a mod if you're feeling unsafe. We're here to keep this community one of acceptance and friendship. So here's the actual thing that got me the boot, and I think you can recognize what it is just by looking at it, eh? That's right, it's this tweet, dudes. The one where I found a bunch of people who were proudly undocumented or proudly illegal immigrants.
What kind of fucking asshole legitimately finds people who are undocumented immigrants and reports them to ICE? What kind of shitbag do you have to be in order to do that to human beings? That's awful. Jesus.
As stated in their own fucking bios on Twitter, and then tag them into a thread with ICE. And I even say in the thread, it's not about xenophobia. If you want to live in a nation, immigrate properly. I say it right here, and I still feel that way. If you want to live in a nation, immigrate properly. This is not a race issue. I'm not racist. This is certainly not...
Okay, is that why you also included, like... Oh, boy. For one thing, you used, specifically the brown hands emoji. And then you included a pregnant woman. Oh my goodness. And by the way, you're specifically pointing out, like, Mexican immigrants, as if there aren't, like, white illegal immigrants from Canada. That's also a thing that happens, you know?
A xenophobic issue. I am not afraid of or hateful towards people who come from different places or have different backgrounds. They are all welcome to immigrate properly to the West. They are all welcome to follow the rules, contribute to the society that they arrive in, and be a net.
She is trying to condition me to say pop instead of soda. It's alright. I won't be Pavloved.
Positive to those around them. This isn't white nationalism or something nonsense like that. It's, in fact, the alt-right calls me a civnat wet noodle or something. Of course, you can also make the argument that, hey, despite that, maybe you shouldn't be tagging people in with ice. You know, it's like sicking the cops.
Michigan love. It's pop in our dialect.
Okay, I don't speak. You want me to speak like a Michigander, eh? We gonna.
That's Canadian.
You're Canadian.
I'm not Canadian.
On them. It's like the guy who narcs out. One, ice doesn't...
Oh, gonna go get some soda. Gonna go get some pop. Gonna go get some Fago. Gonna go and go hunting with my friends up in the Yoop. Me and some Yoopers are gonna go hunting this weekend. Fine, I'll just talk like that all the time.
You're very bad at that.
You're bad.
Okay. At what?
Tathier, thank you for subscribing with Twitch Prime.
Actually watch their Twitter account, and
I'm sorry I have a transatlantic accent sometimes.
I don't know what that means.
It means I don't have like a... I speak like someone on television. Obviously I slip into regional dialect sometimes, but more or less I speak like a normal person. What you looking for?
I'm not looking for anything. I'm gonna...
Oh.
And I knew this when I made this. It was a fucking troll. And two, if you don't want to be deported...
Haha, reporting people to ICE was... I was just trolling, guys. You know, troll isn't like a shield from, like, shitty behavior. I hate when people do this. I was just trolling. You reported people to the fucking immigration services, you douche. That's not trolling. That's fucking violence.
Don't put proud illegal immigrant in the bio of your Twitter, you morons. But of course that context doesn't really matter when it comes to smaller groups like this. Like, get this. When he said he was centrist, that was a big red flag. To somebody who is on the radical left, the centrist might as well be the Nazi. They might as well be.
You're not a centrist. I haven't even seen any other videos, but the fact that you were reporting people to ICE as a joke, you are not a centrist.
The radical right. Because the centrist position is actually strong borders and legal immigration. That's the centrist position.
No, not particularly. Something like the DACA would be a centrist position.
The radical right position is strong borders, no immigration, and deportation of those they don't want there, even if they were there legally, like sending black people back to Africa or something. Meanwhile, the radical left position is no...
That's a Nazi position.
Borders, no immigration system at all, pure unfettered movement of people. But to these people, the centrist position is too radical for them, which shows you how far left they've gone. And I can already hear their objections, and I understand them. The radical lefty will say that the centrist person is just like the right because, in practice, they just won't accept people of color or something. Fair enough, that might actually happen. However, the radical right person says that the centrist position might as well be the radical left position because people will simply refuse to enforce border laws and don't care when illegals come through, which is kind of what happened under Bill Clinton. So their positions are equal but opposite. They believe the centrist to not be extreme enough for them, so therefore they must be extreme in the other way. Fundamentally, they have no idea what nuance is.
You're not a centrist. And just being in the... Even if you were a centrist, by the way, sitting in the yard not caring about politics and saying, I just want a grill or whatever. It's not some enlightened position. Actually look into the issues and have opinions. Jesus.
I always view it as a mark of pride when somebody who thinks this way, in fact, also thinks my content is hateful and cruel. That's simply part of speaking the uncomfortable truths. However, it was never going to be about how I could argue my case, or how I could show them how I'm not actually some kind of hateful bigot for holding these opinions, and in fact, these opinions not only have their basis in reality, but in some cases seem to be objectively true regarding certain things about governance. But it was never going to be about...
There's no objectively true answer to any governmental policy. That's a complete ridiculous statement. You don't get to say that. Even the things that I advocate for that I think are right and good for people, saying that they're, like, objectively true makes no sense. I can say that I think they're moral and I think it's the right thing to do to provide healthcare to citizens and stuff like that, but to say it's objectively true means nothing. It's a way to try and couch your opinion in some sort of, like, objective truth when it's not the case. Devious Chilster with 25 bits. Uncomfortable truths is such a cringy, dog-whistly statement. Yeah. Sounds like race realism shit to me.
Making a convincing argument, it was always going to be ideological. Nothing blatantly offensive was said in this Discord. The ban was entirely decided on because of his actions outside of the Discord. So,
and that's their right to do so. Oh yeah, that's fine. I do a lot of things when this happens when I have money. I'll try and get into, like, she's going through my closet right now that's in the office. I bought this calligraphy set to try and learn calligraphy for D&D so I could, like, do my own spell book, and I thought it would be fun. But I never even opened it. I do this. I'm like, I'm gonna get a hobby. I'm gonna do this thing, and then I never do it.
That's ADHD.
So it's just like Facebook, banning you for stuff that you do off-platform, or Patreon, or whoever else. It's the nonsense we've been fighting everywhere, just on a much smaller scale, because this Discord had like 50 people in it or something. Now, I've actually got, I think, 5 people in there who are still, like, sending me messages and being like, LOL, have you seen what they've done now? And they did delete all of my messages, so I can't actually show you the rather tame political conversations that I had in their channel meant for heavier topics. But I can show you the reaction of their admins.
Oh.
I'm not...
That was my lockbox for medical marijuana when it was only medical here in Michigan before it became recreationally legal, and I had a vaporizer. I'm talking to both you guys and Baja, I guess. And I had a vaporizer that would take these little cartridges, and you could pack a little bit of marijuana in them and put them in there, and it would vaporize. The vaporizer's still in there somewhere, but I haven't used it in a very long time. Because now the pens are such a big thing, and they don't use actual weed, and they don't stink as much. At least not for as long. Whereas that used actual flower, which, you know, leaves a longer lasting scent, let's say.
Not having a fun discussion. This has been entirely unpleasant. This is in retaliation, by the way, to
Did
me
the cat's new hat arrive today? It's probably at the P.O. box.
That...
Yeah. We'll go check it in the next couple days.
At the very least, Trump isn't a fascist because fascists economically like to centralize and control everything happening in their state. All of the private economic activity is...
Not necessarily. The Nazis, for instance, became very buddy-buddy with certain industries, but they didn't, like, ban private industry. Quite the opposite. You saw stuff like Volkswagen become huge. Hugo Boss become huge, even after Nazi Germany. Oh, does that work now? Yeah, I thought it broke. Oh, maybe I'm thinking of another one.
Is at least in some way regulated by them, while Trump has been going on a massive deregulatory spree. That is the actions of, like, an ANCAP almost, not a fascist. This person also believes that the Discord is a...
Oh, that one I think broke. It doesn't work anymore. This one's really nice, though. This was cool. I wish it still worked, because this one's actually metal. This one's like a toy. I mean, they're both toys, but this one's like a kid's toy. This one's like a collectible one. But I think it stopped working. Yeah. Maybe I just need new batteries.
Yeah, probably.
Safe space for those who Trump has oppressed. I don't think he's actually personally grabbed you by the pussy. My refusal to agree to this statement is actually what got the ball rolling on this. Can we all agree that Trump is an absolute monster and by far the worst president possible? He has been openly sexist, he's racist, a pedophile, a rapist, his politics are terrible, he's an absolute idiot. But in terms of all of it, he is a monster and the worst. We can debate his garbage politics all day, but in the end, hate crimes, assault, and white supremacy have grown louder and stronger. Human garbage has one of the biggest platforms on Earth. You all know that I am neutral to Trump. He has done some things that I like, particularly economically.
Ew. Again, that's not a centrist opinion.
He has done other things that I don't
That's an ignorant opinion at best.
like. For example, there was some LGBT stuff that Trump recently did that I actually openly oppose. I also oppose his stance on flag burning. You should be able to burn whatever flag you like. But my neutrality on him was apparently the big issue.
Being neutral on Trump is not a centrist opinion.
Here's probably the funniest exchange of all. Again, you can't see my replies here because I've deleted all my messages. Unfortunately, you'll just have to take me at my word here. The admin, who at this point has always been the person in red, she says that I'm obviously a white person. And I say, well, no, I'm Métis. Which is like a half joke. I guess technically I am, but it doesn't really matter, right? For those of you who don't know, Métis is it's a Canadian term for people who have a mixture of white and Native American heritage. And the reason that we use that term is because they were basically rejected from both the white and Native communities back in the day, so they like formed their own community, and they are distinctly their own thing culturally. However, I am not Métis in any real sense. I don't look Métis. I don't.
Okay, so you're white.
Practice any of the culture. I just happen to have a Native ancestor back there somewhere, so it doesn't really matter. And in response to this, she's
all verified Twitter accounts have been locked down and can't tweet. Have you seen what's been going on Twitter?
Vaguely.
Someone got access. Thank you, Woohoo Lulu, for continuing your subscription. Someone got access to a Twitter admin account and has been tweeting a scam from tons of huge accounts like Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Kanye West, Elon Musk. So now all verified Twitter accounts are locked down.
They didn't get Trump.
No. Not to my knowledge, at least.
Says, if you look white, you reap the benefits. That's just a fact. My reply, which is where the white line would be like, oh, that's actually like bisexual people. And that is, in fact, the truth. If you are not white, but you're white passing, you get white privilege. In the same vein, if you're bisexual and you're straight passing, then you have access to straight privilege. Like if you have an opposite gender partner and you're walking around outside and you're holding hands with them and you very clearly appear to be a heterosexual couple, even though you're bi, you have access to straight privilege. And that offended these people. What the fuck? Excuse me? I'd explain that ASAP. I didn't really get a chance to honestly explain it all that well because the conversation moved on. But I actually recall this from a feminist point of view. I think, what was her name? Dr. Jenny Roth? I gotta look it up. Yeah, Dr. Jenny Roth. I don't know why her photo is upside down on Lakehead University's website, but I took a few of her gender studies classes when I was in university back there. And she is a bisexual woman, and she once said in her lectures that bisexual people have access to straight privilege, and that ultimately it is a double-edged sword, because in some ways your queerness is erased, and that could be, in fact, damaging to your identity, at least from the feminist point of view. But at the same time, you also get access to straight privilege. People who would look down upon flamboyantly gay people, for example, or people in openly homosexual relationships, they will give you a pass. They won't think anything of you, even though you're actually bisexual. And she said she experienced, as a bisexual woman, both of those events, both gaining access to the privilege and also losing access to the identity. But these people don't care about that nuance. Even though the exact same logic is used to say that you have white privilege, even if you're not actually white. When you apply that same logic to bisexuality...
I think they're just wondering why the fuck you responded in that way. You're not addressing their argument at all. You're concern trolling.
It's apparently completely offensive. Even though it is not only the same logic, but confirmed by the real-life feminists that I know. So far, I've kind of been indulging myself here, and I think that's why I made this a devtrospective video instead of a main SFO video, because I'm talking more off the cuff, and I'm talking about stuff that's closer to me. This is a personal encounter, and by the way, that is the reason why I censored everyone's names. I do not want you to go after these people. I certainly do not want cancel culture to descend upon them. Although, as an aside, would it surprise you to know that the person speaking in red, that, this is who they are? Yeah, I had a feeling like 5 years ago, the minute that relationship started, the friendship was over, unfortunately. It just took us this long to get there.
Are you seriously doing she has a non-natural hair color, must be an SJW card, because yikerinos.
Okay, that was a low blow, I know, but that one was just for me personally. And besides, we all know somebody like this, don't we? With the dyed hair and the glasses attempting to appear unique.
She's just trying to see, dude! Why you fucking stereotyping people with glasses? What?
Who talks about how progressive and moral they are. who talks about having the right politics, but ultimately is just a cover for them being fundamentally a nasty person. And believe it or not, this is not a video about me ranting about old friends. It's not. Because I realized something while this was happening to me, that if these people had any actual power, they would have wielded it against me. Because in this tiny space, where it's a Discord of only a few dozen people, they still couldn't resist doing what every single person does whenever they engage in some kind of cancel culture nonsense.
It seems like you're just mad that a bunch of people that you thought you were friends with see you in a negative light because of your shitty opinions, and now you're mad about it and blaming cancel culture instead of blaming it on the fact that you are an asshole.
And I'm guilty of this too. I jumped on the pro-Jared bandwagon last year, and I was wrong. I should not have done that, and that's the main reason I'm refusing to jump on the Angry Joe bandwagon and the Twitch blackout people and all this stuff, all these accusations coming out right now. I will not. I will not make the same mistake again. It was a moral failing on my part that I did that, and frankly, but for the grace of God, go I. If these people who had thrown me out of their Discord actually had, say, millions of followers instead of, a couple thousand or something, if they actually had the ability to do so, if they actually had a presence, I do believe that there would have been an attempt, partially organic and grassroots and partially not, to have me cancelled over those old ICE tweets. And then I had to ask myself, why do I care about being cancelled so much? And after thinking it through, I realized that I just don't anymore. It's as simple as that. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of cancel culture. I'm tired of knee-jerk reacting to everything. It's emotionally draining. I'm tired of baselessly accusing people or adding to other people's accusations when there's no solid proof behind them.
Okay, but the only proof of what you said is the fact that you said it, and it's available on Twitter, right? Lego Velociraptor. People aren't canceling you. For one thing, you weren't canceled. You were banned from a Discord. Secondly, it wasn't over some accusation. It was literally over something you had said publicly on Twitter.
It makes me feel immoral. I'm tired of being pressured to care about stuff. Maybe it sounds selfish of me, but I have two people in my life who are very close to me, who, on some level, I am at least partially caring for. I'm working as hard as I can, oftentimes more than 12 hours a day, every day, at the YouTube thing, the streaming thing. I know for some of you, it's your dream job. It's my dream job, too. I wouldn't trade it for the world, but that's not to say that it's not work. Maybe I'm just a weakling, but it is somewhat draining just to get through life sometimes. And I'm tired of being pressured to care about stuff that on some level I just don't care about. And now I'm going to be cancelled and called a bad person, a racist, a Nazi, an alt-right, or whatever, because I'm not caring in
This is him just getting mad he got banned from a Discord.
The right way, because I'm not posting hashtag Black Lives Matter in my tweets. I'm not flying an LGBTQ flag. I'm not changing my avatar to a black square or a COVID awareness banner or whatever the most recent social media nonsense is. I'm tired of being forced to give a shit. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of being told that my sense of humor is now no longer valid when those same...
Oh my goodness, is this the kind of guy who thinks that saying just racial stereotypes is a joke? Because that's not what humor is, it's just being a shitty person.
Same people engaged in it.
Devious Chillster with 25 bits jokingly tries to get a bunch of people deported. He laughs. He gets banned off Discord. Guys, I have people I care for.
5 or 10 years ago. I'm tired of being told that my view on Islam is hateful and bigoted and xenophobic, when the exact same people said the exact same thing about Christianity back during the Bush and Obama years. I guess it's okay to discriminate against gay people if your skin is brown or something. I still think
What? No.
Edgy, 4chan, Newground style humor is funny, and I'm tired of pretending that I don't. I'm tired of being
Oh
told
my god, he literally just quoted the Joker movie. I do think it's funny, and I'm tired of pretending I don't. Alright, bud. Probably time for your Hot Pockets and your mom to tuck you in.
The mainstream center-left positions that I hold politically now make me a white nationalist and a Nazi. And the on-the-ground effect of all of this stuff is cancel culture. For example, when the riots heated up in the United States, JonTron posted this variant of the I just want to...
What? No, it doesn't fit. I bought it for the same reason, but it doesn't fit. Yeah.
Grill meme. The accompanying tweet said, "These last few days, along with everyone else, have made me feel incredibly sad. Through these uncertain times, I hope to bring laughter to your lives through my continued videos. Please stay safe out there. Peace." A completely reasonable reaction, and the internet tried to cancel him over it. Because he was not...
JonTron already has a history of being really racist. Look at his debate with Destiny to see more about that. But the reason that people shit on him for that tweet in particular is because he's pretending to be a centrist when really what he's doing is trying to not discuss what's going on in terms of police brutality. And it's pretty clear the reason why, based on the fact that, once again, oh, it's the 11th Doctor as a... well, Lego guy. I forgot I had that one. When really what it's clear that he's doing is trying to just not address the fact that police violence against minority communities in this country are a thing based upon how he views them if you listen to the Destiny interview.
Explicitly endorsing one point of view over another. Even though that's not his job. He's an entertainer. He's not a political pundit. And here's his response to getting cancelled. What, we're doing the COVID sequel already? Man, they're really just starting to recycle ideas at this point. I'm just gonna go watch reruns of Occupy Wall Street. And I get it. It's funny, but this is what he says to people trying to cancel him over being politically neutral, over staying in the center, over not publicly grandstanding, over not virtue signaling. We all think virtue signaling is cringy as fuck, but when...
Okay, no, though. People on the right consider people voicing their opinions on things virtue signaling. That's not a centrist opinion.
When you don't do it, they cancel you. This is a much politer version of that one Twitter video of the Joker getting ready to say the N-word, and how much of a ridiculous buildup it was to that. Same energy. And it's the same energy because it is a complete and total disregard for the social norm. The new social norm now is social justice-oriented stuff, but it's a complete and total disregard for it. In fact, back before the social justice warriors held political power, they got a kick out of breaking the old social norm that was religious Christianity. The resurgent religious Christian right that kind of ran things back in the 90s. The proto-leftists back then really reveled in being edgy and, tipping their fedoras and stuff. This is the exact same kind of thing, and it's why they hate John.
Most atheists who were edgy back then, and I'm including me and Jake in that, have become super weird right-wing people like Sargon. Jake and I are the exception.
But this stuff is everywhere, man, and I'm just tired of it.
And Vadim.
Nebraska Democrats renounced their Senate pick over his previous comments. Audio emerges of Jimmy Kimmel allegedly using the N-word back from 1996. Lana Del Rey, Doja Cat, and Jimmy Fallon have all been canceled in the past month. The account Brother...
Yeah, the Jimmy Fallon one, he literally was in blackface for a sketch. Not cool.
Nature has a history of racist tweets. It turns out those tweets happened when the person running the account was 12 years old. Connor Daly, a NASCAR driver, lost a sponsorship because of a racially insensitive remark made not by him, but by his father in the 1980s. And the left participates in it with glee. Sometimes they even call for it to happen themselves. I'm sure this attempt here by Christy Winters didn't really go anywhere because Christy Winters is a nobody, but they know exactly what kind of power they wield. And it's not just grassroots. We also know that this sort of thing is organized and corporate. TV networks have enlisted PIs to scour stars' social media for racism. They get clicks and therefore revenue when someone gets cancelled. So of course they want to push that shit. The left also knows to pick its targets well. Here's Owen Jones, the UK's resident bumbling idiot, on the whole Yorkshire tea thing that was happening a little while ago. You're clearly all having fun, but this hashtag Sue You're Shouting at Tea thing is really disturbing. I realize this will all make Yorkshire tea a lot of money, but picking on a random member of the public being silly on Twitter, who we know nothing about and who sounds vulnerable, oh, so you're...
I don't even know what that's... Let's see what this is about. Sue, you're shouting at tea. Sue, you're shouting at tea. Let's see what this is about. Sue, you're shouting at tea becomes strong contender for quote of 2020. I haven't even heard of this, so I don't know what this is from. This is from February, it looks like. It's day 6 of the Yorkshire tea debate, and a new meme has emerged. Sue, you're shouting at tea. Let us take you back a few steps. On the 21st of February, Tory minister Rishi Sunak posted a picture about his favorite brew, Yorkshire tea, which prompted an extreme and unexpected backlash. A few days later, the tea company urged people to be kind after its staff had to field furious accusations and boycott calls after the photo. In a series of tweets on Monday, the firm stressed to followers it was not asked or involved when the Tory minister posted an image of himself on Friday afternoon. Nearly a week later, some people can't let it drop. The last thing I want to do when I'm making a tea is to think about what the Tory, who is blatantly advertising your tea, paid or otherwise, will be doing to continue to grow the rich-poor gap. While the tea brand attempted to reply calmly, Sue carried on. In the end, Yorkshire Tea tweeted her back, "Sue, you're shouting at tea. Please look at yourself and try to be kind to others. We're going to mute you now." The response has nearly 30,000 likes and more than 5,000 retweets to date on Twitter, and the PRs are no doubt rubbing their hands together in glee. In fact, the simple phrase, "Sue, you're shouting at tea," has already become a meme. I never heard about this. Must have been a UK Twitter thing.
Against cancel culture, then, Owen. Sounds like it. Sounds like this random person just made a weird tweet and now everyone is descending on them. Sounds bad. Yorkshire Tea have told a far-right vlogger not to buy their tea again, and enraged right-wing extremists are throwing theirs in the bin. You absolutely love to see it. Oh, so cancel culture is only valid if you go after the right targets then, Owen. Is that it? I don't even
Yes, context matters.
know which far-right vlogger you're talking about, but I do not trust your opinion on what the far-right actually is. But more to the point of this video, cancel culture is valid if the target of cancel culture has the wrong politics. From Dave Chappelle and Joe Rogan, to Andy Ngo and Laura Loomer, to Sargon and the Ralph Retort, cancel culture is...
Oh boy. You're really gonna justify Sargon saying he wouldn't even RAPE someone, really? That's not a fucking joke, man. That's just a fucked up thing to say.
Wrong. Every single time it happens. Cancel culture is the tool of the person who wants to hurt someone else, but
they just posted on the Twitter support account. That's funny.
They have no actual reason to do so. They have no grievance. They haven't actually been harmed in any way. They can't bring something before a court. They have no receipts to show, but they hate you. Maybe they're jealous of you. Maybe they think you're a disgusting member of society and therefore you have to be purged, regardless of the truth on that. Maybe it makes themselves feel better to think that they've done some good in the world, and frankly, they don't feel good all that often, so they're just going to take what they can get. Maybe it just...
He's real salty about getting banned from this Discord, Jesus.
Gives them that cathartic release that they've been searching for, just to hate on somebody. Whatever it is, it's illegitimate. And worst of all, this is something that the left actually fought against back when I was younger. It was the religious right that would employ a variant of cancel culture. Did you know that you have a gay person working for you? Maybe you should fire them. Maybe the children shouldn't be around them. Do you think it's a...
Okay, do you seriously not understand the difference between being mad that someone is gay and being mad that someone is racist? Those are two very different things. You're focusing on the consequence and not the context of the situation. It's incredibly disingenuous.
Appropriate after 9/11 to have a Muslim working in your shop? But nowadays, cancel culture comes from the left. As do those...
It's almost like the thing that is wrong has always been racism and being a bigot. Weird.
People that are now defending it. Critics of cancel culture really just hate democracy.
Oh, I think this is the remote for the AC.
You are technically correct if we're talking about the mob rule style of democracy, but there is no real justice in that.
Also a guitar that I wanted to learn to play.
While our society rightly values protest and free expression, the critics of cancel culture turn this virtue into a vice, contemptuously dismissing those who collectively express their disapproval. This is not what's happening right now. People are free to cancel whoever they like. That is the power of the consumer boycott. In essence, Gamergate itself, back in the day, was cancel culture. And we can see just how badly the progressives reacted to being canceled back then.
Because you were trying to cancel people over the fact that they made a game about depression, and that made you mad. Because a woman made it.
But the consumer boycott is one of the...
Cancel culture, by the way, I don't even think I've addressed this in the episode, doesn't fucking exist. Consequences for your speech have always been a thing. People have always decided, if they don't like the thing that you're saying, that they might not engage with you as a product anymore, because as I've talked about before in this stream, in the 21st century, in the age of social media, if you're making your money online or in the public space, you are a product I'm a product. This guy's a product. Everyone who is making money doing this is a product, and if people don't like what you have to say, if they think you're a morally objectionable human being, or even if they just don't like you for whatever reason, they're not going to engage with your product. This isn't a new thing, and just calling it cancel culture doesn't all of a sudden make it out of control or whatever.
Only things that regular people
Someone sent that to us. I think that's anime something. I don't know what it's from, though.
can do to affect change in the marketplace. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what happens to people who have a neutral opinion, or who refuse to act. The people who choose not to virtue signal. They get cancelled as well. I know I keep resorting to the old well of horseshoe theory in this video, but it is very much like George Bush saying you're either with us or against us. I remember very vividly the left decrying that when it happened. But now that Bush is out of mind, they're doing the exact same thing. One of the artists who works on my channel drew...
Is not agreeing with war crimes literally the same thing as me not being allowed to report people to ICE on Discord or Twitter? Galaxy brain.
A gender-bent variant of PewDiePie. Yikes! It looks like I'm taking a break from your shopping page. Of course you are. Sad, because I like their stuff, but right along with you. How come you're ignoring everyone who has a good reason to be angry? No one has a good reason to be angry. You're all stupid if you do. But liking everyone who supports this awful person. There was no reply, so I believe I asked why you're ignoring people. There is no legitimate reason to hate PewDiePie. He's not a Nazi. He's not an alt-righter. He's not a white supremacist. Your real problem with Pewds is that he's edgier. He still behaves in some ways like it's 2012 internet, just like I do. And because he won't take you and your politics 100% seriously, he's evil. I kept frantically hoping she...
This is a sad, ugly Ben Affleck Batman.
He would, like, catch every blatant hint people were throwing that this shit is bad, but she's actively ignoring. I don't want to speak for her. I would assume she just disagrees with you and thinks you are stupid. I'm really sad you're supporting a racist, anti-Semitic, alt-right edgelord. That's not kawaii at all. Please do some research.
I don't think that's what it is. I think it's a windshield thing.
Picnic blanket.
Oh, okay.
Into this guy's history and
I didn't know what a tag on it.
even current news. Why
I got that in a loot crate.
do you support a neo-Nazi who not only backs the alt-right, but is anti-Semitic, uses racial slurs against black people, and inspired a large massacre against innocent brown Muslims? I thought this was like a joke comment, but it's actually real. Yes, he's a goddamn neo-Nazi. This is the kind of content he's promoted. He followed prominent members of the alt-right on Twitter and then unfollowed them to hide the fact right after the massacre. You can't go around saying racist, derogatory comments and jokes against racial and religious groups and expect anything bad to come of it. This artist of mine sent me a few more funny things. My mutuals, if you're following Shadbase or Sludbox, I'm unfollowing. I adore y'all, but you have no reason to be following these toxic artists. Of course, it had to be fucking Shadbase, dude. This is a study from Cambridge, titled Does Apologizing Work? An Empirical Test of Conventional Wisdom. Let's read the abstract. Public figures often apologize after making controversial statements. There are reasons to believe, however, that apologizing makes public figures appear weak and risk-averse, which may make them less likable and lead members of the public to actually want to punish them.
I think that has to do more with the fact that when we see a lot of these apologies, oftentimes they're half-assed and clearly more about the fact that they're sad that they got caught. Phoenix Vengeance, thank you for continuing your subscription.
When presented with two versions of the controversy surrounding Larry Summers, liberals and females were more likely to say that he should have faced negative consequences for his statement when presented with his apology. The effects on other groups were smaller or neutral. This suggests that when a prominent figure apologizes for a controversial statement, individuals are either unaffected or become more likely to desire that the individual be punished. It's a crazy study. It basically implies that apologizing for your edgy past doesn't actually do anything. And in fact, to the exact demographic of people who are demanding your apology, it lowers their opinion of you. I would like...
Because usually people do half-assed apologies that don't actually mean anything, right?
You to combine your knowledge of that study now with this exchange on Twitter. This verified lefty decides to draw a comic about cancel culture, and very clearly he is disdainful of the idea that cancel culture is bad, because he draws a comic about a guy who he gets canceled, And then he ends up kind of spinning his canceling into a career and makes a whole bunch of money. The reply to that is, shouldn't this make you want to not cancel people, given that it's effectively amplifying their voices through channels that take joy from their cancellation?
Pointing out that shitbags will flock towards other shitbags for being shitbags and getting fired for it doesn't mean we don't want to have consequences of the actions for people for being shitbags.
And he simply replies, no. Cancel culture is not about doing good. It is not about righting wrongs. It is not about making the world a better place. It's not about education. It is about that cathartic release that a lefty feels when they've identified somebody that they view to be impure, and when they have, with their righteous indignation, purged them for the good of their community. I can only assume that the Christians of old who killed witches felt the exact same way when they did it. They had the perfect...
Calling J.K. Rowling a TERF is literally the same as lighting a woman on fire for witchcraft. Bold take, Cotton. Let's see how it works out for him.
Outlet for their impotent hate and rage. They had a way to oppress other people within a framework that makes them the victim. And they had the perfect moral cover to indulge in harming those around them. See? I told you at the beginning this wasn't just going to be a video about a personal event that happened to me. It's really not about that. That was just my springboard into the larger topic. My point with that was to show if those people had a large community and not a small one, which is what they have, you might see an attempt to cancel me right now. And you know what? Here, I'll just make it easy for you. Take this and clip it. Maybe I'll even clip it on my own channel just for convenience's sake. If cancel culture ever comes for me, here in one little package are all the hateful, terrible, racist, bigoted, misogynist, transphobic, xenophobic things that I believe, all in one go, okay?
Oh, this'll be fantastic. What are you laughing at? I have no idea what it is. Hold on. A field guide to sharing your faith. Oh, yeah.
Here they are. I believe that gay people, trans people, people of any race, of any ethnicity, of any religion, deserve the same equal rights as anyone else. That also means they have the same responsibility to uphold others' rights as everyone.
No one said they don't. But if you're a fucking Nazi, no one is forced to listen to your bullshit.
Else. Meaning that if you are a fanatic Muslim, no, you cannot simply kill gay people because they have a right to life.
No fucking shit. This is not some stunning and brave thing you're doing.
I believe that trans people should be allowed to do whatever they want. If they want to transition as adults, that's their business. They are legal adults. They can do what they like. However, I believe that children should not be allowed to medically transition with hormones and...
Literally no one is giving hormones to children in order to give them HRT. What you do is you give children puberty blockers, so until they reach adulthood, they can not have their body go through a puberty that's going to make them into something that they don't want to be. Trust me, as a trans person, I would have loved if that were an option when I were younger. It's a good thing. Jesus Christ. What a fucking straw man argument. No one is giving hormones to children
until they turn 18, or at least the age of majority in your country. We don't let kids make serious decisions until they're adults. I think the same standard should apply with transitioning, and that does not make me transphobic. I believe that a liberal, free society requires a strong border. I believe that illegal immigrants flooding into a country depress...
Again, you're describing it as flooding, as if this is a huge thing. Illegal immigration is at like a 30-year low or something. I don't blame them either. I wouldn't want to come here, Jesus.
This is the value of labor in the market. Because why should a company pay you minimum wage when they can hire an illegal for half that price?
So shouldn't you then try and punish the businesses who are hiring people below minimum wage? Right? It seems to me that the solution to this problem would be making sure that everyone is paid a fair wage, legal or not. That way everyone's on an equal footing.
Therefore, I believe one of the best ways to...
Devious Chilster with 50 bits. People like this always hilariously give up the game. But this person is a verified lefty. Look at going after them for this bad thing as if they are on the same team. We can't say anything bad about them. It's almost like, oh, I don't know, projection of the right onto the left. Yeah.
To help the working class is to end illegal immigration and enforce border laws. However, I don't want
the degradation of the middle class in this country has nothing to do with illegal immigration, and it has a lot to do with capitalism and the fact that automation and outsourcing have basically created a system in which capital can freely move across borders, but labor cannot.
Those border laws enforced on a racial or ethnic basis. I am happy for any race or any ethnicity or even any religion of person to come to the West and live in a Western country, as long as they do so legally and they do so with the intention of upholding our values. And probably most importantly of all, I don't believe that hate speech should be censored. I believe that hate speech is properly countered with more speech, with better speech.
Hold on. Dude Spanking Dudes says, someone took all the books on calligraphy. This taught me a lesson to not run out every book on one subject.
With competent debate. I believe that...
Devious Chilster with 50 bits. Isn't this literally virtue signaling? See, that's the thing. I don't think virtue signaling exists. Like, but would a right-leaning person consider this that? Yeah, probably.
If you censor hate speech, it's because you have no actual argument against it. And that...
Hear that, Americans in World War II? D-Day was just admitting that you couldn't combat Nazism with words. Genius.
Means that either you're shit at debating, which is possible, or that your ideas are even worse than the hate speech that you're listening to. The leftists of my era understood that sunlight was the best disinfectant, meaning that when you engage people with radical ideas rather than isolate them and ban them from places, you end up de-radicalizing them, as long as your own ideas are actually sound. In banning people from discords.
And of course, if anyone's reasonable, it's neo-Nazis. What?
In banning them from social media platforms. In canceling them whenever something even minor happens. You are only serving to radicalize more people, not de-radicalize them. Now, if everything that I've just said to the progressives in 5 or 10 years make me equal to Hitler himself, because things have just gone that crazy in the future, then go ahead, cancel me.
I think people have to know who you are before you can be canceled.
Fucking care anymore. But never, for the rest of my natural life, will I walk back any of the things that I just said. The natural impulse is to do so. You know, when you have 1,000 people telling you that you fucked up, that you're the wrong one, you know, the natural impulse is to say, oh man, with that many people, maybe I did make a big mistake. Like, am I wrong here? I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to be acting immoral. Did I actually hurt somebody? Nobody wants to be the person that hurt an innocent. I understand that, but we're past that point now. We are at the point where if you don't have the right politics, if you are neutral to what they consider to be evil, if you even simply stay silent and don't virtue signal, they consider you to be as evil as the original evil that they claim to fight. That is unacceptable.
This guy's bad. I'm gonna have to take a look at him in the future.
Hey guys, no.
Let me just save him, and then we can move on to the next thing. What?
The Holy Bible naked and exposed, the entire Bible undressed and rendered in plain English.
Let's see, we got a stream from Coach Red Pill. I just kind of wanted to see what this is. I don't know if this will be a long thing or if we'll, like, stick around for a bit on this, but I wanted to see what he talks about in his streams, just sort of free form.
Okay, all right. So, this is the live stream, and I've got a
Look at that camera angle. Oh, no.
new toy. I've got a camera. How do I look? Do I look incredibly handsome? Do you just figure that all those years of being hetero, or you're just going to toss them out the window because I'm so hot? Yeah. How do I look? Pasty-faced? Yeah? Do I look pasty-faced? Do I look, you know?
That is not the most flattering camera angle in the world, not gonna lie.
Kind of awful. Yeah, I know. The setup is not ideal at this point. Look, this stream that I'm doing is kind of like a tryout, because I'm trying different things, and I'm realizing that I'm going to have to get up.
Is that seriously a fucking hitting Heather Heyer with a car meme? Are you fucking serious?
A better computer. Because this computer I've had it since 2017, and it's just, well, I bought it in early 2017. It's a MacBook Pro, and at the time that I purchased it, it was actually like the 2016 model. So we're coming up on 5 years.
So I'm thinking that this computer is on its last legs. The bottom of it is kind of bulging because I think something's fucked up with the battery. And so, yes, I am definitely going to be replacing it. But in the meantime, let's get cracking. So, lots of shit going on, yeah? Like, it looks like the United States is on fire.
Phobe in chat? Where?
Hit me with a 1 if you're from the US. Hit me from a 2 if you're from the UK. And hit me with a 3 if you're from everywhere else. I'll wait a little bit for chat to catch up. 1 for the US, 2 from the United Kingdom, and 3 for the rest of the world. I'm waiting. Waiting. Ones. Lots of ones. That's good. Yeah.
They just think they're being a troll.
2s, 3s, 1s. Miami. Yeah. Great. Great.
Oh, nothing clever. It was just like, I'm not gonna say it.
Great. Well, it looks like the United States is going up in fire, like the whole fucking country.
Hold on, one sec. All right.
It's just going to shit. Like, what the fuck happened, man? I mean, come on. It's just, oh, and by the way, this is a new setup. So tell me, is my audio and my visual synced? Is my audio and the video synced up, or is there like a delay? Hit 1 if they're synced, and hit 2 if they're delayed. Yeah, because like I said, I'm trying out this new camera, and I'm trying to see if it works. Hit 1 if it's synced up, 2 if it's defaced or delayed, or it's not properly synced.
Isn't this guy a photographer for a living or something? Other than doing the Coach Red Pill thing? Shouldn't he know that
1,
camera angle looks
synced,
terrible?
2 if it's defaced, if there's a delay between the video. Oh, okay, great.
It's like Dutch angle, the webcam.
So, yeah, sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, we can skip ahead to the actual...
I just thought it would be a lot of fun. More structured, kind of... It's about yourself. Who's going to promote for you? You see what I'm saying? So if you don't like it that I'm promoting, well, you got to understand, man. If you're not doing it yourself, nobody's going to do it. So you just have to do it yourself. There are a lot of things that I want to talk about. I'll tell you what I'm going to talk about in order. I'm going to talk about Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith and their open marriage, which has finally come to public light. I'm going to talk about propertarianism and the whole shit show that happened. This was like a week ago, exactly a week ago today, that on the 4th of July, it all started to go south for propertarianism. If you don't know what it is, well, I'll discuss it in some detail, so just hold on to your old sombrero, buddy, and I'll get to it presently. The other thing I'm going to be talking about is Tucker Carlson's writer got canceled, basically, by a writer for CNN, the same guy who canceled Alex Jones.
Yeah, it was because we talked about this the other day on stream, and there's videos of it on my YouTube channel if you want to check it out. I'll actually link that in the chat in case anyone hasn't already. I keep shilling for my own YouTube, but, it is what it is, folks. Go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't yet. Tucker Carlson's head writer got caught on, like, a white supremacist board that, like, was espousing awful racist sentiments, and he said some racist shit, and you can see a video of it on my channel to see exactly what he said. But when he says he's getting canceled, for one thing, it was just an article saying, like, hey, Tucker Carlson's lead writer is saying a bunch of really fucked up shit on this racist board, and then he resigned. So it's not like he was even forced to quit. He resigned because he knew what he was saying was awful.
A guy called Oliver Darcy. That name, yes, he is the enemy of free speech. He does not believe in free speech. He believes in deplatforming people that he doesn't like or who are too effective in their messaging.
He was posting a bunch of neo-Nazi shit on the internet that has nothing to do with free speech. And again, he wasn't fired. He resigned because revealing the kind of person he was made Fox News look like even more of a shithole than it already is.
That's what's going on there. That's topic number 3. Topic number 4, I'm going to talk about the McCluskeys. I believe it's named they're Mike and Patricia McCluskey, that couple from St. Louis. An interesting turn of events has happened to them. They've gotten their weapons confiscated. Oh, yeah. They were defending their property, and they got their weapons confiscated. Very interesting. Yeah. And the 5th case we're going to talk about is the Flynn case. Look, the Flynn case is a fucking rabbit hole. So I'm not going to talk about the specifics of it, just the generalities of it. And
Moving on quietly says, hi, Hannah, hope you're doing well. I know this is off topic, but I was watching some of your sovereign citizen videos, thought it was pretty funny.
You're welcome to
they
stay.
keep quoting Black's Law Dictionary for the meaning of the word driving, but they can't go one letter up to look for employ.
Yeah, what else? What else do I have to say? No, nothing else. Yeah. What? You're hitting ones and everything is moving very fast. What's going on, guys? Are we all good? Oh, Tucker Carlson is a national treasure. Yes, I would agree, Jack.
Wow,
okay.
Coach Red Pill likes the guy whose head writer was a white nationalist? What a shock.
Let me see. I just want to check to make sure that everything is going okay. Man, I wish I had a producer. I wish I had a producer who could, like, do all this shit for me, you know? But you know, I'm cheap. What can I say? Yeah, it would be absurd to hire a producer. It would be incredibly expensive, and it would be kind of pointless because, you know, the DIY aesthetic of live streaming on YouTube has its charms. Yeah. God damn, I look pale. I got to figure out how to position the camera with the light. Oops, there you see my finger? You know, the light behind me there? That's a great light, and I have to figure out how to use it because I look pasty-skinned. I look really awful. And if I turn off the light of the camera, that's why I bought this camera, because it has this built-in light. That
Jesus Christ, he's just rambling.
Just say no. Okay, I can't. Okay, so let's talk about Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith. Okay, I can't put up videos because I tried. I was experimenting with it earlier, and apparently one of the limitations of my computer at this point is that I'm not able to put video that doesn't severely, you know, like get all robotic and just messy and gooey, and run OBS, and run the camera, and run my microphone. So you're just going to have to take my word for it. But go check it out. There's this video.
I don't even understand why his streaming setup involves this rotating thing of random pictures and memes, and he's just in a little box down in the corner. Like, if you're just speaking, you can just have a setup like, hold on, like this, where you're just the center. It's fine. It makes sense to have, like, chat on screen somewhere and maybe have, you know, links or, you know, the random things like the jar or whatever. But, like, just having stuff on screen for absolutely no reason that has nothing to do with what you're talking about is so bizarre. It's like a boomer's idea of what a stream is, because they know they've seen streams where people are little boxes in the corner, but they don't understand why.
It's on Twitter, where it seems as if Will Smith is in like some sort of public park with a lot of other black men, and Jada Pinkett.
You can just say men. Their race has nothing to do with it.
Smith, she's the only woman, and he's getting like this shoulder massage, and he's like really enjoying it, like ooh ah, and he says, I swear to God, he says, a man knows what a man needs, you know, and Jada Pinkett Smith has this look on her face, you know, oh God, right? And so it came out recently that Jada Pinkett Smith was fucking some guy, I don't know, I mean some nobody, right? He was some twink who's like 20 years younger than her or some shit like that, and she was fucking him, or he was fucking her, as the case may be, and
okay, I'm pretty sure it came out that they have an open relationship. So what? Like, people are allowed to do that if they're consenting adults and they've both decided they want an open relationship? Why is it any of your business to judge that? Who cares?
It came out because he bragged about it, which is just fucking stupid, okay? I mean, word to the wise. Whenever you fuck somebody, keep it to yourself, okay? no matter who it is. Don't brag about it. Not even if it's your wife. Don't brag about who you're fucking, okay? It's unseemly, and it always somehow comes back to bite you in the ass, okay? Like most bragging. If you brag, it usually comes back to haunt you. So be smart, okay? Don't brag. And this guy, well, he was bragging about fucking Jada Pinkett Smith, probably because, she fucked him for a while and just discarded him. And this seemed to have happened in like 2014 or something like that. And it came out now because he was bragging, probably because he felt left out. It's just because he was discarded. And now Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith are saying, oh, we were on a trial separation, but we didn't tell anybody, or blah, blah, blah. Well, that's bullshit. Okay, what's going on is...
Wait, why do you think it's bullshit? Why would they lie about that?
Let's see. Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith have had an open marriage from pretty much the get-go.
Okay, if that's the case, so what?
Okay, and the rumor is that Will Smith is, how can I put it? He does not discriminate. Yes, that would be the appropriate term. The appropriate term that will make sure that I do not get deplatformed. He does not discriminate, if you know what I mean. Hit one if you know what I mean. Boys and girls, hit one if you know what I mean. I'll wait for chat to catch up. He does not discriminate. He is... he's a loving man, and he loves everyone.
Is he trying to say that he thinks Will Smith is, like, bisexual or something? So what? Who would care?
And so what's happened is that, this is all coming out, and soon enough this is going to come out, and it's going to hurt him. Right now,
Mock Turtleneck with 100 bits says, just want to say the guy who Jada was sleeping with, August Alsina, a songwriter for a couple major record labels, including Def Jam, so not a nobody. Yeah.
I've noticed that Will Smith's people are pushing the narrative that he probably fucked, I think, Alice Eve or some other British or Australian. Oh, Margot Robbie. Yeah, that he fucked Margot Robbie at some point. They're floating that idea to cover up about the fact that Will Smith just does it all. And
who would care? I think if Will Smith came out as bi, people would be very supportive of that.
And I don't know if Margot Robbie is in on it or not. If she's in on it, she's probably getting paid a shit ton of money for it. If she's not, she's going to be seriously pissed because she's happily married to some guy who's not in the Hollywood business, in the acting business. And so it's going to be really fucking interesting how that all plays out. Because if Will Smith's people are floating this rumor without her consent, he could be liable for quite a bit. Okay, he could get fucked over because Margot Robbie right now, she's an actress. She's the current hot thing, and her window is going to be short because all actresses' windows are relatively short.
Jesus fucking Christ!
So you figure that she figures, and her management figures that she's got maybe 3 to 7 more years in her. She doesn't want those 3 to 7 more years to be fucked over by some weird allegation that she was fucking Will Smith and potentially.
How would that hurt her career in any way?
Her public
it's no one's business who people are sleeping with. Who cares?
Someone that could be injured by this allegation. She doesn't want that. So, if she's not getting paid a lot of money, and Will Smith's people are floating this idea out there, they're going to get a huge fucking bill because she's going to go after them because she's somebody. Okay, she's not somebody to be trifled with, right? So anyway, that's what's going on, which is really amusing, but it's not really important. Let's talk about the more important stuff, okay? I'm like leading up to the important stuff because I've been following like everything going on in the United States and whatnot and all the whole shit show of America. I mean, America is a clown country at this point. I mean, hit 1 if you think that America is a serious country, and hit 0 if you think it's a clown country.
What is all this 1 and 0 stuff? This is a boomer's idea of how to talk to chat. What the hell?
Okay. Please, do that for me. Hit 1 if you think it's a serious country. Hit 0 if you think it's a clown nation.
Also, Clown World or Clown Nation is like a known Nazi dog whistle. Fun fact. This is why, like, the subreddit The Honkler on Reddit got banned.
Nation of clowns of just patheticness. Huh? Let me ask. Let me see those. Yeah, I'm seeing some zeros. Come on, chat. Come on, I know you can do it. Come on, show your esprit de corps. Yeah, that's what I like it. Clown Nation, motherfucker. Yeah, that's where we're at. Clown Nation. Yeah, and I'll give my thoughts as to why we're at Clown Nation at this point after I've gone through the topics. Because, believe it or not, I actually have like a sort of like a plan about this. You're gonna have to forgive me that I don't have video or quote unquote receipts, as they call them nowadays, and shit like that. Because, like I said, the limitations on my computer. Okay, so please excuse me. So you're just gonna have to...
Sorry I don't have any evidence of the thing I'm talking about and making claims about. It's just my computer. You know how it is. What?
Take my word for it. But, you know, anything that I say, just go out there and Google it and check it up for yourself. You know, it's a lot of this shit.
Sushi Mom has something. One sec. Many sources say the user management console of an employee was compromised. User management allows to play God mode. Twitter needs to improve their back-end console architecture. Ooh, yikes.
It's funny as fuck. I mean, that clip of Will Smith getting that shoulder massage. Oh, man, that's fucking priceless. That is just so fucking priceless. You know, I'm just like, damn, son, damn. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, where were we? Oh, the McCluskeys. Right, we were... No, propertarianism. Sorry, propertarianism. Yeah, propertarianism, this is basically what was going on. Propertarianism is this ideology or set of ideas or philosophical principles, whatever you want to call them, promulgated by a guy called Curt Doolittle. Now, if you remember that name, I actually did a live stream with Curt Doolittle. I've been in touch with him, and we are friendly. We're not friends. We've been friendly. He lived in Ukraine, and I don't have any kind of like proof of that, but the way he mentioned certain things, it was very clear that he had lived in Ukraine. Apparently in Kiev and Lvov. I myself have been living in Kharkov. And he lived in Seattle. The word...
Okay, this is boring as shit. I'm done with Coach Red Pill for today. You guys have any videos you'd like me to look at for Chud Watch? Anything in particular or any channels you'd like me to check out? Let me know. Oh, Feminist Critique Pod, thank you for gifting 10 Tier 1 subs. Holy crap. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Let's see what the YouTube homepage has for me.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
I'll just search Red Pill. Let's see if we can find anything.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Oh no.
Before I get into this video, I just want to start off by saying that I am...
This guy debated Jangles yesterday. Hold on, let me take a look.
We have...
Oh no.
There's nothing funny about the tools of
I saw atheism as unstoppable for a second, and that dude's awful. Let's say you can't stop progress. 160. We get... Oh boy.
There's nothing funny about the tools.
Trying to look for a video that's at least has some brevity.
There's nothing funny about the
Trump's America. City Folk critical examination of polyamory, as if it's any of your fucking business.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
The fall of iDubbbz TV. Uh-huh.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Let's see the top videos. Let's watch the polyamory one, I guess.
Last December, Barcroft TV uploaded a video to their YouTube channel, which is now known simply as Truly, celebrating the pregnancy of a woman in a polyamorous relationship with 4 men.
Their 4-way relationship is working wonders for them.
A YouTuber named Sam Collins, who has 465,000 subscribers and was born female but now lives life as a man, did a response video where she took the time to assure everyone that there's nothing wrong with polyamory.
And hey, you know what? If you're a polyamorous person, it's fine. And hey, you know what? If you're a polyamorous person, it's fine.
And also,
it is fine. Who the fuck cares what other people do with other consenting adults?
Seemed to imply that it might be homophobic for the men in the relationship to not be having sex with each other as well.
We're not romantic with each other. We're all just connected with her.
You think we're fucking gay? No, absolutely not. We're all here for Tori. So we have to share her, but it's fine. We're not fucking gay. You think we're gay? Ugh.
Earlier this week, one of the men in the relationship, 22-year-old Ethan Bocom, was charged with aggravated child abuse for beating the 5-week-old baby, fracturing its arm, leg, ribs, and skull. Barcroft TV has removed the video from their YouTube channel. On May 13th, 2017, Alexander Kolpakov, known on YouTube as the Skeptic Feminist, shot his girlfriend, Heather Leigh Annabelle, 3 times, killing her. Kolpakov was in a polyamorous relationship at—
What does this have to do with the fact that they're polyamorous? I could point to numerous examples of monogamous straight couples murdering each other, and it would have nothing to do with the fact that they're monogamous or straight. This is a ridiculous argument.
At the time, and he and his 2 girlfriends would often post videos on YouTube talking about their shared mental illness.
I mean, and people, monogamy made more sense in past eras where people didn't live so long and where there wasn't so much emphasis on sex, you know what I mean? There wasn't so much temptation. Whereas now, I mean, people live forever. Like, it's just, that when you're 23 years old, you're going to find someone who's like, yeah, they're the only one you're going to be with for the next 60 years. Like, yeah, that's going to work.
If you can if that's all you need to keep yourself happy, do that.
Yeah,
by all means.
By all means, yeah.
But don't restrict the happiness of other people with these archaic, dogmatic judgments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kolpakov was sentenced to 40 years in prison last December. On August 4th, 2019, Connor Stephen Betts, 24, fatally shot 9 people and wounded 17 others near the entrance of the Ned Peppers bar in Dayton, Ohio. 2 months prior to the shooting, Connor had been dating an openly polyamorous woman while she was engaged to another man. The woman, Adelia Johnson.
Okay. Do we need to look up a list of mass shooters and see how many of them were in polyamorous relationships versus how many were monogamous or single? Because I think we all know who would win that fight if that's where you want to take it, but I'm not gonna, because it's a very stupid thing to try and connect from one crime to what kind of relationship someone is in. Very stupid.
Johnson wrote in a Medium post after the shooting that their relationship consisted mostly of them talking about their mental illnesses. One of Betts' victims, his own sister, was living life as a transgender man.
Well, the Dayton shooter was in a polyamorous relationship.
History is full of examples of polyamorous sex cults ending badly. In fact, you don't need to look any further than the still ongoing trial of members of the NXIVM group. The NXIVM Corporation was run like a multi-level marketing scheme.
Do you think that a sex cult is the same thing as someone being polyamorous? Because it's not.
People would buy expensive $1,000 seats to go to lectures about empowerment and self-improvement, and if they purchased enough courses, they were upgraded within the group with promises of eventually earning a lucrative salary working for NXIVM. One of the group's initiates, a woman named Nicole, described to the jury the process of her initiation. It began when she emailed her friend and fellow actress Allison Mack, who we'll come back to in a minute, telling her that she was feeling suicidal. Mack encouraged Nicole to join DOS, a secretive group billed as a sort of empowerment sisterhood within NXIVM.
Yes, cults are bad. No one disagrees on that except for cults. Polyamory isn't that, you weirdo.
First, she was made to hand over nude photos that could compromise her if she turned against the group. Not long after, she was eventually encouraged to contact Rainier, the cult leader who went by the name Vanguard. Her testimony is described in a piece on glamour.com that says, Nicole did meet with Rainier, who blindfolded her and took her to an unknown location. He told me to get on the table, and then he tied my wrists and my feet to different sides. She felt cold, like super vulnerable and exposed. She was hoping that was it, but somebody started going down on me. Rainier started to speak, alerting Nicole, still blindfolded, to the fact that there was another person in the room, the person who was performing oral sex on her. Afterward, Nicole told Rainier's jury Vanguard assured her she was fine.
None of this has anything to do with polyamory. That person was assaulted. What does this have to do with consensual polyamory?
Said he wanted me to know that nothing bad had just happened. I was a young woman.
It would be like if I was like, oh, straight people. I've heard about straight monogamous people, and then accounting to you some woman who had been assaulted by some straight man at some point, even if it's like her husband, let's say she was assaulted by, and then going, see, straight relationships and monogamy lead to this. It's a complete non sequitur. It's such a straw man, it's not even worth addressing. Marv Lafayette, thank you for continuing your subscription.
Who was allowed to be sexual. And so we see a repeated theme here, the idea that any inhibitions or reservations you might have about sex are merely outdated dogmas holding you back from true fulfillment.
Don't restrict the happiness of other people with these archaic dogmatic judgments, you know what I mean?
Alison Mack, who is known for her role on the television series Smallville, didn't just help recruit women into DOS. She also came up with the idea of having them branded with Rainier's symbol. In 2013, Mack posted a video to her YouTube channel in which she described what it was like working at Nexium.
None of this has anything to do with polyamory.
Say that working for the Jeanette, watching the way and this was all
not difficult to understand. And so it seems like a safe assumption that adding extra layers of complexity and jealousy and drama to that dynamic would be a fool's errand. However, it's also not difficult to understand what draws people to this kind of lifestyle, particularly if they overvalue sexual gratification, which, as ContraPoints pointed out in his conversation with the skeptic feminist, we tend to do these days.
I mean, and people,
Did you seriously just fucking misgender ContraPoints? What the fuck?
Monogamy made more sense in past eras where people...
Let me double check.
ContraPoints pointed out in his conversation...
Yeah. Yikerinos.
...with the skeptic feminist, we tend to do these days.
I mean, and people, monogamy made more sense in past eras.
This asshole named I Hypocrite.
Where people didn't live so long, and where there wasn't so much emphasis on sex, you know what I mean? There wasn't so much temptation.
And so all this begs the question, why is the science on polyamory so overwhelmingly positive? I have looked through the studies on this subject myself, and it seems like peer-reviewed after peer-reviewed study concludes that polyamory is a healthy and perhaps beneficial choice for people to make. You can see this in the media. For example, an article published on Scientific American in 2013 says polyamory may be good for you. It is worth noting that when I say
Oh, did he misgender a trans man earlier? I didn't notice. Sorry. What an asshole.
Counterintuitive, I don't just mean on a common sense level, but on a scientific one as well.
Imran Mustafa
one survey of people that
thank you for
identify as
following.
polyamorous found that they were twice as likely to identify as bisexual than straight. Bisexuality, like all queer identities, correlates highly with lots of negative life outcomes such as mental illness, substance abuse, promiscuity, etc.
Okay, and you understand, and I've talked about this before, because one angry gamer often, whenever he's talking about video games and the fact that gay people are in them and that he doesn't like that it's, quote, promoting that lifestyle as if it's the 1980s and that's a valid avenue of critique. Higher, what's the word I'm looking for? Higher instance of things like substance abuse can be directly related to the fact that people who are queer, part of the LGBTQIA plus community, are often treated worse than their counterparts who are straight, right? These are outcomes that come from the fact that society sees them as less than human.
And bisexual women report the highest rates of domestic violence and sexual violence, second only to bisexual men.
Yeah, part of that has to do with the fact that people in a relationship have more or less, how do I put this, an equal dynamic. What's up?
I was just saying what you mean treating people like less than human affects their mental health.
Yeah.
Another example would be the rates at which children are abused when the mother is cohabitating with a non-biological father. And that is not a necessary component of polyamory. It is also very common outside of polyamory. It seems reasonable to expect that you would find that.
So that sounds like a straight dude problem then. Do you see that? Do you see what you just did here?
It's more often in polyamory given the unusual lifestyle of these people. The story we looked at the very beginning.
That study isn't about polyamory though. It's about fathers hitting their children or even mothers hitting their children within straight monogamous relationships. What?
Where the man abused his 5-week-old baby is exactly an example of just that. I could give more examples, but hopefully you get the...
What are you talking about? What?
Idea. We have these behaviors...
This guy's an idiot.
...which, when examined on their own...
How I imagine the debate with Jangles was incredibly one-sided based on the horrible specious reasoning presented in this shit video. Jesus.
Correlate highly with negative outcomes, but somehow when we look in the context of polyamory where you're going to see the same behaviors, all of a sudden it correlates with positive outcomes. Why is that? And the answer in a nutshell is activism. Activism not only on the part of the researchers.
So he's just gonna say that all research based around polyamory is bias. Right, okay. You gonna source that, or you just gonna claim it? Great.
But the people responding to the surveys as well. If we scroll through the articles on Google Scholar about polyamory, what you'll notice is a lot of the papers submitted are essentially the academic version of a blog post and filled with Marxist language such as polyeconomics, capitalism, class, and polyamory.
Words are Marxist. Words I don't like are Marxism. Is this guy's dad Jordan Peterson?
For situational sexual behaviors, the ideological work of moving toward polyamory in communal living groups. In these papers, polyamory is written about as not a sexual behavior, but rather an identity or social movement.
Okay. And
that identity is imbued with ideological activism. For example, one paper I was skimming through talked about how the idea of a primary partner had to be done away with, as all hierarchies must be dismantled, etc., etc. Given the theoretical and philosophical nature of these papers, it is easy to dismiss them out of hand, and I am perfectly content to do.
Do you have a degree in anything, or is this... I mean, he must have a degree since he's talking about papers and he has a classical statue as his avatar. Oh, it's Socrates. Surely. What an intelligent man.
We have...
Oh, boy. I definitely gotta bookmark this guy for another time, too.
Exactly that, but it gets a little bit more difficult when we look at the studies where they actually do surveys and find that polyamory has positive outcomes for relationships. An example of one such study would be investigations of consensually non-monogamous relationships, theories, methods, and new directions done at the University of Michigan and headed by Terry D. Conley. The study was touted in the media with headlines such as "People in open relationships are happier than monogamous couples," study claims, or "The more the merrier, new studies suggest polyamorous may have more satisfying relationships." We're going to take a look at that study in a sec, but before we do, in case anybody thinks I'm exaggerating when I say that these researchers are activists, Dr. Conley also gave a TED Talk in 2016 on the topic of removing the stigma around casual sex, and that talk started off like this.
I'm a social psychologist, a feminist, and a sex researcher, not necessarily in that order.
Quickly went to this.
Is his critique that she's a feminist? Is that the entirety of the critique? Because that's not a substantive critique, I hypocrite.
So in essence, women want good lovers in a casual sex encounter, but they don't think the sex will be good. And sadly, at least in the college context, women aren't having particularly good heterosexual casual sex.
And in the end wound up here.
So if you have sex, be as safe as you can, and then put all the crazy warnings and stereotypes behind you. Don't feel guilty about feeling good about sex. Thank you.
Okay, just from the clips you've shown, because again, these are all out of context, obviously, nothing about what she said is ridiculous. She's saying basically that college dudes aren't great at sex, which isn't an unreasonable statement, especially considering how many laughs it got from the audience, especially the women. I don't think that's exactly a bold statement. And then she basically just says, hey, if you're gonna have sex, don't feel ashamed about it. Enjoy yourself as long as you're safe. These are all reasonable things. Feminist Critique Pod with 25 bits says, he is also only bringing up polyamory with a single woman and multiple men and blaming that situation on the violence of men. What about the polyamory and abuse of one male with multiple women that takes place in Mormonism? Polygamy and polyamory are great when they are consensual relationships, but he's equating polyamory to just SJW, and it's a weird flex. Maybe the real issue is toxic masculinity? I don't know. This guy clearly has a fucking agenda he's trying to push, which is ironic considering that he's critiquing others for theoretically being biased when he himself is clearly setting out to try and paint SJWs as promoting some sort of violent relationship through polyamory. Very strange.
When we examine the methodology for Conley's study, we see that participants were recruited via two methods. First, we recruited by posting on internet sites, including the volunteer sections of Craigslist.org and sites devoted to polyamory, open relationships, or swinging. 89% of the participants were recruited that way, and the remaining were recruited by a large group of psychology undergrad students who posted requests to complete the survey on their social networking pages, example Facebook. So you have Conley's students who she's personally indoctrinated into the cult of sex positivity through
Oh no. Are you in favor of what? Sex negativity? What the fuck do you mean the cult of sex positivity? No, this thing that we all do should be an inherently negative. Rah!
He doesn't think that women should think that sex is a positive. He wants them to find it bad so that they're pure when he gets to fuck them.
But that's so weird then. Because then when he has sex with a woman, they're not gonna like it. It's so strange.
Empowerment, reaching out to their activist friends to fill the survey, and you're going to...
What? It was literally asking people who are polyamorous to come and fill out the survey. How do you think surveys work?
Polyamory sites reaching out to the people there who are also activists. If you don't believe me, you can take a look at the work of Elizabeth A. Sheff, who has posted multiple articles on Psychology Today, including polyactivism, efforts of polyamorous community.
Lizaeus with 100 bits. Oh, but Hannah, don't you see it's a sin for women to enjoy sex? I've made a grave error.
Members to combat discrimination, or polyamory advocacy, activists and organizations dedicated to advocating for polyamory.
Devious Chilster with 50 bits. Women just don't enjoy sex. I've had it with a lot of women and none of them have ever enjoyed it. That's proof.
But for me, the most interesting article was Aging in Polyamorous Families, a preview from the cutting edge of polyamorous family research. Under the community section, she writes, although some continue with high levels of activism that even increased with retirement from paid work, many aging polyamorous folks reported declining levels of involvement in organized community events. These older polyamorous cited a number of reasons for their decreased involvement with organized polyamorous community events, primary among them boredom with endlessly talking about dating and jealousy. I don't know, it might be a sign when you hear from people who are members of a community that they stop associating with the community because the conversation is just endlessly tedious. That might be...
I'd imagine that happens when you're an activist in any community for a long enough period of time. For instance, I really enjoy going to Pride, right? And I'd imagine I'll continue to for many, many years. But when I'm like 60 or something, at some point, maybe I won't feel like going out, and it's great and fun to celebrate your identity with other people, and that can be a really good time, but, like, once you're retirement age, you might just want to chill the fuck out at home and relax, right?
Be a sign that it's not the best lifestyle. But the point is,
I'd imagine that same sense of like, I just don't want to deal with, like, you know, whatever. You could find that within any group of people that get together regularly to talk about some set of shared beliefs or whatever.
These people are activists, and if you still don't believe me, take a look at this. Here we have a study published in 2018 titled Open Relationships, Non-Consensual Non-Monogamy and Monogamy Among U.S. Adults, Findings from the 2012 National Survey of Sexual Health and Behavior. And the National Survey of Sexual Health and Behavior bills itself as the largest nationally representative probability survey focused on understanding sex in the United States. What they did in this study was use various logistic regression techniques to categorize the respondents into the category of open relationship, non-consensual, non-monogamy, and monogamy. They then analyzed the results, and what they found was that both the open relationships and the non-consensual, non-monogamous relationships reported lower levels of relationship satisfaction than the monogamous relationships. Basically the exact opposite result that Conley got with her study.
So wouldn't that show you that more studies need to be done? Right?
And so it would appear that this is actually the result that you get when you don't stack your sample size with a bunch of polyamory activists.
No, what you need to do is do more studies. You can't look at one study that you already disagree with and say, well, here's all the things wrong with this study, and then name a study that you agree with and not go in depth as to how it was actually done without any sort of critique about how they went about doing the study and act as though that's an argument. I'd imagine there needs to be a lot more study done on polyamorous relationships, but here's the thing, too. Even if somehow people in polyamorous relationships were less happy, whatever the fuck that means, in terms of their relationship statuses, it's still not my business whether or not people want to be in them. People are allowed to do whatever they want with consenting adults, and if they get something out of polyamory, and that makes them happy, and that makes them happy despite the fact that it might be a little more complicated socially to navigate that, relationships with multiple people within them, then that's their right.
And that's not an exaggeration. The last thing I want to touch on in this video is a Twitter thread by PhD student Zach Goldberg, who did some analysis.
Oh god, was it about non-consensual non-monogamous? That's not polyamory, that's being cheated on. Did he seriously just cite a study about people being fucking cheated on as if it's about polyamory? What an idiot! Oh my god! Hey, dipshit! Have you considered that being cheated on is different than polyamory? You disingenuous fuck! My goodness.
Of Pew Research's March 2020 COVID-19 survey.
I didn't even catch that. Thank you, chat.
And
I'm getting a little tired, sorry.
What he found was that mental illness runs rampant through white liberals, with 38% of the very liberal whites in the survey having been diagnosed by a doctor with a mental health condition.
You know why this is? And I'll tell you this. My dad, for instance, is incredibly conservative. He doesn't believe mental illness exists, despite the fact that he is a malignant narcissist with OCD. I am telling you, the reason that you might find in studies, especially self-reporting studies about the mental illnesses of people on various sides of the political spectrum, is because people on the right straight up don't believe in therapy often and don't go to therapists. That's why. Jesus.
And when it's between the ages of 18 and 29, it's actually 45.9%. And when you control for gender...
Chandra the Fiery with 100 bits, thank you.
It is 56.3% of white liberal women who have a diagnosed mental illness.
I'd imagine, for instance, many Karens who we see on the internet when we do Karen roundups and stuff, they probably suffer from some sort of narcissism, But the thing about narcissists and people who lack empathy, which are much more common on the right, is that they don't choose to seek out help for those things. It's kind of part of the issue.
This is highly relevant. An article published to fatherly.com reports that a 2013 survey of polyamorous people found that 90% of the participants identified as white. The author of that article, by the way,
okay,
it refers to that statistic as problematic, a judgment which I agree with, although I have a feeling we have different reasoning behind the judgment. And this would seem to mirror Conley's study, of which 63% of all the respondents were female and 83% identified as white European American.
And?
So these people are...
Are you about to say that polyamory is racist? Because that'll be fucking hilarious.
Mentally ill. They are literally mentally ill, and it's not really that surprising that they have mental health issues when they're lying to themselves about what...
Most people have some sort of mental illness, because depression and anxiety are all-time highs in the United States, partially due to the fact that there's so little upward mobility, and not only that, but so little hope for the future.
Is normal behavior, and tuning their moral compass based off of the I fucking love science Facebook page rather than their own innate sense.
Who the fuck uses Facebook anymore, you goddamn boomer? Jesus Christ, get an Instagram already.
Sense of virtue.
Or get a TikTok and do like a Fortnite dance. I don't know what the Zoomers are doing these days. That's what they were doing like 3 years ago, though. Oh, was that it? He didn't make a single substantive argument through the entire 17-minute video. This guy's a moron. I can't wait to do more of his shit in the future. Jesus Christ. Oh no, he's got a whole video on Jordan Peterson, too. This guy's real bad. Is atheism is unstoppable still a thing? Oh, did he just get banned from YouTube again? Fantastic. I think he's been banned before, though. And he comes back, like, every time. So, hopefully he'll stay away. That'd be cool. Is Peterson still in a coma? Let's look. Let's see if we have any news on Jordan B. Peterson. 2 weeks ago. 1 week ago. An emotional Jordan Peterson details the absolute hell he went through fighting an unbearable drug dependency. 2 years ago, famous clinical psychologist Jordan Peterson released his best-selling book, 12 Rules for Life, in which he shits on people for smoking weed, which is incredibly hypocritical, considering he's addicted to benzos. Which, again, it's terrible for him. I feel bad, but, you know. This might be recent.
Welcome.
This is from June 30th, 2020.
To the Michaela Peterson podcast, episode 9. The past year was the worst
year of my life. So no, he must be okay.
Both of my parents almost died repeatedly. First my mom, then my dad. You can't make this up. It's been insane. I'm writing about it in more detail. It'll be in my book. So on...
Michaela, why didn't you just have him eat an all-meat diet? Isn't that supposed to cure everything, according to you?
Andre, my husband, and I have spent every day for the last 6 months trying to find my dad help, looking everywhere, traveling around the world. If it hadn't been for Andre, we wouldn't have made it through this year. So this is a brief podcast with my dad about what happened to him and my family in the last year. This was a very difficult and even in the planning next video to learn.
Hi, kiddo.
Hi, Dad.
Hi, kiddo.
It's really nice to be doing a family update with you rather than about you.
Yeah, well, it feels like a good thing from this end of the universe as well.
Good. When was the last time you used a mic to record anything for YouTube?
It would have been last fall, likely. early fall, maybe September.
It was a
August,
while ago.
maybe even.
Yeah, almost a year.
Yeah, a long time.
So,
felt like a long time too.
It felt like a very, very, very long time.
Very long time, yes.
Well, in the most Canadian...
Yeah, he looks like he is not in great shape. All things considered, I don't wish death or anything on Jordan Peterson. I don't, like, do that to the people that I disagree with. Even awful people. Like, nah, I might make light of it occasionally, which probably isn't the nicest thing to do, but, like, I guess I'm glad he's not dead. That's good.
fashion, I can muster, what the hell happened, eh?
Right, that's what people were asking online, eh? Right. What happened? Well, you know, an accident is when 3 or 4 or 5 unlikely things happen at the same time. And I would say that's what happened. I mean, first of all, I spent last January with you in Zurich at a hospital. I wasn't in the hospital, but I was there most of the time.
You were in the hospital a lot.
I was in the hospital a lot, yeah. Well, I had to feed you, or make food for you.
Yeah, he
so
brought
I was
me
there
steak.
Through all of January, and you were getting some pretty invasive surgery done on your foot. And then your mom and I, Tammy and I, went to Australia and New Zealand for most of February, and that was actually not too bad a trip. I felt all right, and she was feeling all right too, but we knew her surgery for what was hypothetically a relatively treatable cancer was coming up in March, so that was hanging over our heads, although we weren't overwhelmingly worried about it. And then she went and had her surgery, and then we were informed 6 weeks after that, after she had recovered but was still suffering some pain, that the easily treatable and non-dangerous, slow-growing malignancy that we were told she had was, in fact, something fast-growing with something near 100% fatality rate within a year, regardless of treatment.
Like brain cancer. Like
yeah, so that was
deadly.
We were told that in about 10 minutes, and so when we were just expecting if not a clean bill of health, at least a re-representation of what we'd already been told. And then she went in to have more invasive surgery, and hypothetically that worked, but it created terrible side effects.
Diazepines.
Well, in over the Christmas vacation in 2016, you and I and Julian and my son and Tammy went out to Vancouver Island to visit her parents and siblings. And when we were there, you and I and Andre, your husband, ate something that didn't agree with any of us and had a very severe reaction to that.
I'm still on board. It was sodium
that seems to be the most
metabisulfite.
logical conclusion, but I was...
Is he still talking about the fucking cider? Is this the cider again?
Well, we had the same symptoms. I don't know if I was any more seriously affected than you or not, but I was freezing cold for about a month. I couldn't get warm no matter how much I wore. I couldn't stand up without fainting. I couldn't sleep. I don't think I slept at all for something on the order of 3 weeks.
Yeah, people you went on Joe Rogan and talked about a sulfite reaction you had and how you didn't sleep, and people commented that, it's not possible to stay awake for that long.
Correct. It is impossible. Sleepyhead 1985, thank you for following.
But if you actually look into sodium metabisulfite allergies, the symptoms that we experienced aren't unheard of. There are papers.
Well, it's also impossible to stay awake voluntarily that long. That's not the same as not being able to sleep. Those are very, very different things. Whatever. It's possible that when I was laying there thinking I wasn't sleeping, that now and then I drifted off and would wake up and not notice. I mean, I can't eliminate that as a possibility, but I can certainly...
So you had insomnia. Cider did not induce this, Jordan Peterson.
Tell you that I slept little enough so that it was exceedingly unpleasant. It's a very long time to stay awake. And when we went back to Toronto, our family physician prescribed benzodiazepines, which are often used as a sleeping aid and an anti-anxiety medication, and something called Zopiclone, Imovane. And I hardly took the Imovane at all, maybe 4 or 5 times. But I took the benzodiazepine the way that it was prescribed, twice a day, 0.25 milligrams. And that seemed to bring the symptoms to a pretty rapid halt, which is also part of the reason I didn't need the Imovane. And then there were so many other things going on around me at that time that I never really thought about it again. You know, I thought that it was a relatively harmless drug, and I was taking it in a prescribed fashion at not too high a dose, and I developed symptoms that I now recognized were associated with its use. Weakness on my left side, and like a feeling of detachment from people around me, people I loved, some decrease in the ability to experience joy. But it wasn't until much later that I actually associated with the benzodiazepine use.
Yeah. Well,
And when your mom got so sick, my anxiety levels had been climbing the best low probability.
All right. He's boring the shit out of me. Sorry. That's all I could do with Jordan Peterson. It's just boring, and once again, he's blaming apple cider, which is just bizarre. What's this? The cold truth about women,
I'm
red
not
pill
here to
MGTOW.
change your mind. I'm simply here to open your mind. A lot of
God. What are the chances? Well, it already says red pill, so there's going to be shitty misuse of the Matrix. I guarantee that.
you have become slaves to your perspective. You know, you've latched onto this truth because it made sense, you know, at a time when you were vulnerable and you had trauma that you hadn't dealt with, you know, and recovered from. And you felt like you needed a way to rationalize what you experienced. And I understand, you know, naturally you want to have as much control over a situation as you can. And that's why, you know, I empathize with you guys. I empathize with the people who believe that women are hypergamous. Just like I empathize with people who have perceptions about black people or perceptions about any other group of people. I understand that a lot of these belief systems are due to conditioning and personal experience.
Okay, is this guy actually going to talk against the red pill? That would be
And you
good.
have to understand that your personal experience is very limited, you know? And basically conditioning is just a bunch of personal experiences imposed on you. The chances are you went through something and, you know, you got your feelings hurt, and that's okay. It's okay to admit that. You got your feelings hurt.
Hypergamous is the incel red pill idea that women are sleeping with, like, dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of men. Like, every woman. It's ridiculous.
But instead of trying to, you know, go through the grief that you needed to go through, instead what you decided to do is look up ways to hide these emotions by placing the blame onto other people. In this case, women. Now, just like I said before,
oh, good.
Generalizations are generalizations. It doesn't matter what group they're about. Black people are criminals, or all white people are racist.
It seems like that dude's actually speaking against the red pill. That's good. What else we got in terms of red pill? Oh no, red pill real news. QAnon's Coffee hamburgers. Oh, this seems like a crazy person made this. It's like a crazy person got After Effects or something. Yikerinos. What else we got? Red pill reaction to Will and Jada Smith. Who cares? Let's see what strong, successful males got going on. Who else do I have? Sorry. I'm having trouble deciding on what I want to watch today. Next time I have a therapy appointment, fun fact, I'm getting tested for ADHD, which would make a lot of sense, and I think I'd be a better streamer if I could focus. What's the 33 secrets? Oh, did the stream die? Someone says rip stream. Three ugly truths about dating single moms. Oh, that's gonna be bad. Getting females to mimic your brain. Oh, goodness. That's gonna be bad.
Synchronizing her brain to yours. Getting her to adopt your behaviors, your values.
Okay, sorry. Someone must have had internet issues. That's why they were saying rip streams.
Getting her to mimic your humor, your
Shamrock Star, thank you for 5 bits.
Facial expressions. Everything that embodies who you are, your characteristics, your values, your beliefs, right? When you get a girl who is just crazy attracted to you, right? Just like her attraction for you is through the roof, right? It's through the stratosphere. That girl, you will notice, will tend to synchronize her brain to yours, where she begins to mimic you. She becomes almost like a female version of you, right? These tend to...
No, that's not what happens. Sometimes in relationships, people will pick up on traits of their partners, but this isn't solely a woman or a man thing.
Be your best relationship.
Like if you're around someone who uses certain vernacular or turns a phrase often, you might find yourself doing the same, but that's not someone's brain getting in sync with yours. It's just the fact that we tend to parrot what we hear all the time.
Relationships too, because really, I mean, it's like you're hanging out.
Hello.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Claire the Egg with 100 bits says, so what happens with gay women? Do they just swap personalities? Yeah, haven't you seen the movie Freaky Friday? It's secretly about lesbians, even though they're family and that. True. And fun fact, since my brain has started syncing with Baja Blasts, I also am getting PhD knowledge.
And I know how to run a stream.
I think I got the better end of that deal.
With yourself, right?
Going to play Skyrim or something? Okay. Have fun doing... Oh, hi, Kiki.
It's almost like being with, you know, like a best friend, because you guys have so much in common. It's like you laugh at the same things. You see humor in the same things. You know, finish each other's sentences. When you can get a girl, right? A girl who's attracted to you that same way, embody your same behavioral traits, that is super, super powerful. I mean, you know that that chick is just like massively into you and she's not going anywhere. The problem is you see a lot of couples out there, or maybe you've experienced this too, where you're kind of like seeing a girl, right? You might even be dating or having sex with her, but she doesn't really mimic your personality, right? I mean,
how narcissistic is it to try and get the person you're dating to become a version of yourself? Like, dude, you know you can just masturbate if that's what you're into, right?
You guys are just too opposite. I mean, to the point where the chick, you're constantly butting heads with her. You're constantly just never on the same page, and she's constantly challenging you on every little thing and constantly mouthing off to you, right? It's because this chick has not synchronized herself, her brain to yours, right?
How, again, narcissistic of you to assume that in every situation, your opinion must be the correct one, and therefore, if someone disagrees with you, it's not because they have their own opinion, it's because their brain hasn't properly synced to yours. What the hell?
And a lot of reason for that is you guys are just incompatible, right? And this is why I tell you, you know, you want to find chicks that you have that natural chemistry and connection with, because the more chemistry and connection you have with that chick, the less conflict you're going to have with her, the less arguments you're going to have with her, the less she's going to be mouthing off to you, the less she's going to be sitting there nitpicking at you, starting fights with you, you know, cheating on you and stuff like that. when you guys adopt and share the same values, I mean, everything just...
I haven't heard from him. I'll text him.
My dad and brother were at the video store that is near them, and I had them look to see if they had the movie on DVD.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't.
That's a shame.
I was gonna have them get it for you.
This works. Everything just connects. And in order for me to bring a girl even into my dating rotation, right? Even just casual dating, where I have to see this chick. I'm going to invest my time into her. I might even take a few road trips with her, right? I'm going to be spending a lot of time with her. She has to synchronize her brain to mine, right? She has to be willing to adopt my values, my beliefs, my behavior.
Why? Why would you want to be with someone who's just you? That's so weird.
Behaviors, right? And usually the more she's already like that, the easier it is for her to do that, right? The less she's like that, the less able she is to do that. I'm not a big fan of just going after any hot chick that you see out there, right? Because those girls are very easy.
Void Harpy says that is psychotically possessive. Yes, it is.
To come by. I mean, you see a lot of hot women out there. What takes a little bit more skill is finding a hot girl that you actually do share chemistry and connection with. You don't run across those girls very often, but when you do, you'll notice that the game is almost effortless, right? It's like you can even make mistakes throughout your game and she will pick up the pieces for you, right? It's just because that natural chemistry and connection is working in your favor. And most times, because a lot of women are intuitive, I mean, it's just part of their the part of their biological makeup. A lot of women are intuitive. They can sense that hey, I've got chemistry with this guy. There's a connection there beyond what I've had with this guy who was way hotter than him, right? I'm gonna try to work with this guy. And I've had a lot of girls who, dated way hotter guys than me that tried harder with me because they felt more of a chemistry and connection there, right?
Is this guy confusing the fact that women, and this is, not all men are like this, but he seems to be presenting the fact that all men are only interested in looks, but he somehow is projecting that onto women and thinking the only reason women don't only care about looks is because their brains sync better with some people's. No. Why are you only valuing how your partner looks? Jeez. Kiki.
Just beyond just looks. Obviously, you want to look your best, but beyond just looks here, you want the girl to be able to mimic your behavioral patterns, your characteristics, your sense of humor, even your facial expressions. You want her to start mimicking that. I've dated a number of girls who just started mimicking, the way I make jokes, right? The way sometimes I talk like a girl, and I'm like, oh, and I start making fun of women. It's like, oh, so, and then the girl will start doing that too. And I notice that, like, wow, from hanging out with me, she has adopted my sense of humor.
That happens within any group of people who spend a lot of time together. Men, women, gay, straight. Oh, Kiki. Come on, Kiki.
And she is starting to synchronize her brain to mine. That's exactly what you want in a dating partner. I mean, even with friends, right? That's exactly what you want. You want to hang out with people who are like you, that you enjoy being with. You don't want to hang out with people that you're constantly having this conflict with, you're constantly arguing with, you're constantly butting heads. That's no fun. It's, it exhausts you of energy and it distracts you away from doing the things that you need to do out there, right? It distracts you away from your own path and purpose as a man and getting things done and pursuing your own goals, dreams, hobbies, ambitions. So finding people, and especially dating partners, especially women, that will synchronize their brain to yours and start adopting your values and just your aura, right? Finding a girl like that is really what you want to do at the end of the day, rather than just bang like, random hotties that you have nothing in common with. I mean, as far as like dating them goes, right? Even just casual dating. In order to do that, let me say this, in order to be able to get a girl to synchronize her brain to yours, when you meet that girl and as she's getting to know you, you know, whether you're meeting her through your social circle or you're meeting her through cold approach like I generally do and most of my, you know, all my students do. If you ever see us in field, it's almost like you see us, you know, this is kind of a very like crude expression, but we are practically vomiting our personality onto the girl, right? We're completely just being off the wall. We're just not worried about what the girl thinks of us. I mean, even if the girl blows us out, and from time to time, hey, we get blown out, right? Me and my students, we do get blown out. And I tell them that before I take them on boot camp. Like, dude, if you're gonna do it my way and you're gonna, you know, embody what I teach you and you're gonna apply it out there, let me tell you, you're gonna get blown out tonight. Probably get blown out hard at least once or twice. But you know what? You're gonna have a few successes too, and those successes will be with women that are way beyond what you've ever gotten before. I will promise you that. And sure enough, I get them girls that...
He's a teacher in the sense that he teaches this shit to, like, other men at seminars and stuff.
They've never...
He's not like a literal school teacher, I don't think.
Been able to get before, because I teach them to be a little more high risk in their approaches, right? Because the more high risk you are in your approach, it's almost like the more blatantly honest you have to be with a girl about who you are, what your character's like, and there's really no filtering there because you're going in high risk. Like when I do the claw, like whoosh, you know, or I take the girl and I spin her around. All of that is high risk, and it's basically in a very, very short amount of time. I mean, within minutes, sometimes even seconds, it's demonstrating to the girl all of these like blatant qualities about my personality and my character and who I am, to the point where the girl feels like, oh, I know who this guy is. I'm in my DeLorean right.
Jesus Christ. This guy's fucking boring. And he just repeats himself constantly. Alright. I think that's... Let me see who's live right now that I can raid. I think that's probably going to be it for the day. Chud Logic. Okay. Let's raid Chud Logic, shall we? Thank you, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Thanks for coming to the stream. I'll be back tomorrow, I think. I have D&D later in the day, but I believe I'll be streaming sometime before then. Have a good night. Chat is valid. Also, make sure you check out my YouTube channel. Link in the chat. Check out the YouTube channel and give it a subscribe if you haven't already. I'm very close to 500 subscribers on there. Check it out. See you guys next time. Have a good night.